Thank you.
Downsizing Diva, and I'm here to say, feeling good, taking my GLP one whole year, wiped away my fears. Done 60 pounds, but that's no all. I kept on going even through the storms. My A1C went down. I still have work to do. Just when you thought I was done, my high blood pressure went down too. Feeling good, taking my Tirzepatide, one left. I have a great story to tell. I'm on the road to lose 100 pounds. Can I do it in 2025? Yes, I can. Downsizing Diva, and I'm here to say, feeling good, taking my GLP one left.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello and welcome. We are live. This is so funny. I'm excited to be with you guys today. And I thought, how did I end up as the hostess?
The hostess with the mostest.
Yes. The mostest. Yes, yes, yes. So we're going to talk about all things GLP-1. We're going to maybe answer some questions if we have some questions in the chat. But to start off, we'll just tell a little bit about ourselves and our journeys,
Sure.
and then we'll go from there. So who wants to start? The dynamic duo known as the Downsized, Laraine and Chris, or Taisha?
Hello. You go, Taisha.
You go,
Let's
Taisha.
start with Simply Taisha.
Oh man, I wanted to hear what you guys would say so I could follow that format. Okay, my name is Taisha. I am 47 years old. I have been on Zepbound since February of 2024. I've lost a total of 57 pounds. I am a vegan. I eat a whole food plant-based diet. I still get enough protein. I drink I drink a gallon of water a day. I am a fan of strength training and I do home workouts, and I keep, it's just like the reason I came up with the name Simply Taisha is I like to keep things simple. So a prior version used to just try to do too much, and now my motto is slow and steady. So kind of like what Dee Dee says all the time.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Mother of 5. Sorry.
Grandma too, right?
For some reason when I got interviewed, I said 4, but mother of 5 daughters, and I have a granddaughter, and
Ooh.
I'm married, and I think that's it.
Very nice.
Very good. Okay.
Oh,
Who's
me?
up next?
You, girl.
Skip over you and go to me.
It's always about you.
My name is Laraine Durham, married to Christopher Durham now for 22 years, and we're the Downsized. And I am how old did I just turn? 56. I just turned 56. I want to say 55, but I'm 56, mom of 3 kids, ages 18, 20, and 27. We started this journey on September 29th of 2023. So it was about 77-ish weeks ago. And I lost, well, as of today, I guess 53 pounds. And now I'm in maintenance. I lost an average of about a pound and a half a week while I was losing weight. Now I've just been in a maintenance mode for about 6 months. And I work out in a gym. I don't do any home workouts because I have to have people watching me or I'm not doing it. So I admire you, Taisha, for working out so well at home. But I do group exercise classes. So I do a bar class, I do a step aerobics class, I do a cardio dance. Try to get some weights in here or there, but I'm not really good at that. I'm trying to build that in. I don't eat any particular way. Nothing is really off limits. We just try to eat much less. Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. I do all the things, the water, I don't know. Yeah. I think that's it. How about you, Mr. Durham?
So as Laraine said, we started in September 2023. I'm 56 years old. Everybody wants to know how tall we are.
Oh,
and
I'm 5'5".
height is always the thing I laugh at. I'm 5'10 and a half. I started at 286.4 pounds. As of this morning, I was 184 pounds. So that's right at 102 pounds down over the 77 weeks. So I'm at goal and have been at goal for 3 or 4 weeks now. So now we're trying to figure out maintenance. I honestly do the simplest version of this plan possible. So I eat real food. I don't eat any things with added protein, and I don't eat any fake bars, drinks, any of that stuff.
I do.
I eat chicken, fish, meat, vegetables. I eat real stuff. I don't eat fake stuff. And
It's fine
stay
for
in a
you.
calorie deficit, and eat some protein, and move on, and down 102 pounds. So
There
it's
you
worked
go.
out. And that's us. Yeah.
I'm
Okay,
5'7".
thank you for sharing. 5'7".
5'7".
Yeah, I
You're
forgot to
5'7".
mention that.
Yeah.
Well, I'll start with I'm 5'4.5". I think I fluctuate between 5. I think it's my hair when I go to take my
Mine too.
between 5'5" and 5'4.5". But I call myself the Downsizing Diva because I wanted something that was like a positive affirmation of going down in the pounds. And so that's what made me think of that. And I think I had another name and someone else had it. And YouTube was going to let me have that name, but it just was something like, something that was so cute about Downsizing Diva, like the DD, which I think like nicknamed me DD.
Yeah. Yeah, they did.
It's pretty funny. So I started on my journey because I was diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic, and that kind of got my buns going to do something about it. And so I ended up taking Mounjaro at the recommendation of my doctor. At first, she recommended Ozempic, but I was afraid to take that because of the injection. So then I took Rybelsus, and it did not agree with me. And so I ended up on Mounjaro, and I think, that was the best decision. One of the best decisions I've ever made thus far. And so I'm down 65 pounds, and I've been on it a little over a year, maybe 14 months now. It's going on 14 months, I think. So my goal is to get to 100 pounds down. So that's what I'm hoping to do. Well, that's not what I'm hoping to do. That's what I will do. It's just a matter of when will I get there.
Right.
I have an 8-year-old daughter, and actually today I was at her school volunteering, and it reminded me of like why I'm third and up because she's in 2nd grade. So I kept telling the kids, you're going to be a 3rd grader. You are a 3rd grader. We're training you to be 3rd grader. So they did a really nice job. So, so my days are filled with, all things, with my full-time job. And then I feel like YouTube is a part-time job. And so, but I'm enjoying everything. I'm 52 years old, turning 53. So I'm hoping to be 53 pounds down by my birthday. But I don't know. If that doesn't happen, I'm going to give myself grace and get there when I get there. So,
Very nice. When's your birthday?
Go ahead.
When's your birthday?
It's July 21st. July 21st. So I'm a Cancer.
Nice.
Yes.
Right around the
So
corner.
tonight, for the people that are listening and the people in the chat, we're gonna just talk. I have a few questions for them, and then if you have questions for them, we'll take questions from you. So put your questions in the chat, and then we're gonna play a drinking game. And if you have, a protein shake, water, lemonade, oats. I'm thinking of all the things that we drink on this GLP-1. Electrolytes, Chris. I know he talks about the electrolytes.
You love your salty water, and then you worry about salt in your food. What are you doing?
Whatever your drink of choice is, we're going to play a quick game, and then the winner is whoever the winner is. Just be happy you won. I don't really have a prize for the winner. I don't even know if we need to keep track of the winner. So
Everyone's a winner here.
Yeah, we're all winners, right? We're all the biggest losers, actually.
Yeah.
We're the biggest losers. So that's
Exactly.
pretty cool. All right, so let's start off with this question. We'll start off again with Taisha, or anybody who wants to answer. You could just chime in. One thing you guys didn't share yet when you talked about your journeys, I don't think, is how did you get introduced to the GLP-1? I talked about my doctor introducing it to me. What about you, Taisha?
So the first GLP-1 I was introduced to was Wegovy, and that was in 2023. And I wasn't able to get it consistently through the shortages, and the VA would fill it, then they wouldn't fill it. So I had lost let's say I lost 25 pounds, right? When I came off of it, I did not, and when I was on that journey, I'm sorry, I did not change my habits at all. I leaned into not being hungry, right? So I didn't have an appetite, so I didn't eat. And I was still drinking coffee and energy drinks. And so, I wasn't feeling the greatest. We'd go out and I'd get like, greasy French fries and be drinking alcohol. So I didn't make any lifestyle changes. When I came off, gained a bunch of weight back, and I just got really discouraged. And I had found out, I'm trying to remember how I found out about Zepbound, because it wasn't a provider telling me. It may have been a YouTuber. It may have been a YouTube video, and I wish I could tell you which one, but I asked my provider about it and they didn't want to prescribe it. And I was told, diet and exercise. And whenever I feel hungry, I should try yoga or maybe go for a walk,
Oh, if that only had worked, right?
Right. And so I decided to go the telehealth route. So I tried to do some research. And when I say research, it's just looking at things online, right? And I found out about Plush Care. And so I went through them and met with a provider, and I met the criteria. So it wasn't that I didn't meet the criteria to be on it. They just didn't want to prescribe it. So when I went through the telehealth company, they put my prescription in, the prior authorization got approved, and the rest is history.
You won the lottery.
Yeah.
Yes, the health lottery. And
Mounjaro,
imagine that.
lottery. Yeah.
Once I started, I was able to make better food choices and work out. So just needed a little help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So for us, it was kind of a multi-layered thing. I have a family history of obesity and high blood pressure and high cholesterol and all the things, right? All the things nobody wants. It's a genetic nightmare there. And I was up, particularly through COVID, more than 100 pounds. I mean, I was topping out above 300. And I have a great family doctor who I had been talking to, and he had gone through this phase where he was like, well, we're only eating plant-based. And, he was telling me all the same kind of stuff, right? He'd do all this stuff. I'm like, okay.
No offense, Taisha.
Okay, whatever.
Okay.
Well, his plant-based wasn't even vegan. His was like, it was still a lot of packaged goods, but they told him it was plant-based. So I had seen actually a news report, and I think it was on like Entertainment Tonight or, one of those things.
About Ozempic.
They were talking about Ozempic and the stars, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, what's this stuff? Wait a minute. Amy Schumer lost a lot of weight. What did she do? Hang on, let's figure it out, right? And then Charles Barkley's losing weight, and I'm like, okay, wait a second. So I have my checkup, and I go to the doctor. He's like, well, I haven't prescribed to anybody but I'll take a shot. We'll learn together. I'm like, okay, why not? Stuff was so expensive.
I go to the CVS to pick it up. It's $1,000.
Yeah.
It was like, what? I'd like $1,000. So we were like,
there was just no way at the time we could make that happen.
No.
And our kids were getting ready to start college, and it was just all kinds of stuff. So really for the last, 4 or 5 years, we had been talking about Ozempic and then Wegovy, and then Mounjaro came out. So we had been talking. I'd had a couple of prescriptions, and we could just never make it work. Then we were at a party.
And my friend Elaine, who I've known for years, my neighbor, had lost all this weight, and she had always struggled with her weight like I had always struggled with my weight. And I said, oh my gosh, you look great. What are you doing? Like every woman who's, wants to know all the things. I have no filter. So I'm just like, how'd you do this? And she hadn't really told anyone, but she kind of took me aside and she said, well, I'm on some medicine. And I said, tell me about this medicine. And she said, well, it's Mounjaro. I said, what is Mounjaro and how do I get it? So, and I had asked my doctor too, can you prescribe me anything? I've been on Weight Watchers for years. I can't lose more than 20, 30 pounds at a time. And she said, you just need to diet and exercise. So I'm like, okay, she's not going to be helpful. So I started, researching online. And as you do, when you start Googling things, they start popping up in your social media feed. And as I do, I click on them and I go down the rabbit hole. And
And she's surprised when they continue to follow her around.
I got a bunch of creams following me around, a bunch of firming creams following me around. I'm like, does that really work? I don't think so. But anyway, I found an online telehealth provider and I said, hey, look at this. They'll sell us a 3-month supply of this compounded Tirzepatide. And I think I want to do it, but it's kind of pricey for the 3-month supply. What do you think? And he said, well, I think I want to do it too. And I said, you do?
Well, I was skeptical of the online thing. Honestly, it was, I mean, because had you seen the stars doing it on the TV show? Sure, but that's a branded thing. And where's this stuff coming from online? And, so you get, I don't know. Even after we started it, I was still skeptical. I was like, we just flushed $1,000 down the toilet. Hopefully it doesn't kill us. I don't know.
I was like, I've tried everything else.
It worked.
I'll try it. I've tried everything. Like,
Yeah.
Why not? And so we started and it was like, I don't want to eat so much. I get full after, a normal quantity of food. And the weight just started coming off. And that's how I got started.
So let me ask you, that reminds me of a question I always wonder. So when you took the first injection, and how did you feel when you took the first injection and then a couple of days went by, and then were you thinking immediately like, this is different, this is working? Like, what was your reaction?
I think, I've always been so obsessed with the scale. I don't really remember, honestly, 77 weeks ago. And people say, when did the food noise go away? When did all this go? It's hard to say for me, but yeah. I weighed myself every day. And every day I saw the scale going to every single day. That first, like every single day that first month, the scale was going down. And that had certainly never happened for me at Weight Watchers or Nutrisystem or any other diet I'd ever done. So we'd get up in the morning and I'd be like, how much did you lose? How much did you lose? And we'd be like, just so excited to see
That's the exception, though, if you're watching. That doesn't happen to everyone.
Well, I didn't say how much it went down. I mean, it went down by like tenths maybe, but it just
was going down.
It just steadily went down. And at some point, in that first month, I mean, we weren't eating very much. I mean, I remember eating like 4 or 5 bites of something and being like, I can't look at another thing.
For me, the first shot, I don't think I really felt the first shot at all. I mean, I think it was really the second shot that just kind of gave me that fatigue. First of all, it just kind of wiped me out. Like I was
fatigued,
just out, like tired. It's just your body trying to get used to that.
And the low calories too.
And then a few days after that second shot, I mean, I can just remember coming downstairs because we work out of our house and my office is upstairs and Lorraine's is downstairs. And usually by 5 o'clock, prior to these shots, this one is chomping at the bit looking for something to eat. And she's like, what's for dinner right now? I'm like, it's 5 o'clock.
He cooks. I don't.
And I walked downstairs about 5:30 and I was like, she's like, what's for dinner? I'm like, I hadn't even thought about it. It just never crossed my mind, which is, that whole food noise conversation. I don't even know that I knew food noise existed until it didn't.
Right.
And then Oprah was talking about it.
I'm like, I have that. That's a thing. Everybody doesn't have that. I thought everybody thought about food all the time. And I was just the weak one who gave into the cravings, right? So yeah, once that was gone, it was great.
So yeah, and then I had some slow points along the way. I never really had a true stall. I never stopped for any length of time, and we were up occasionally, but there was usually something that we could point to of why we were up. We knew we had gone on a cruise and eaten more. We knew, Christmas or whatever. And it was never like 10 pounds or anything. But, and you come back, you take your shot again, you just keep going. And turns out science is an amazing thing. Medicine is an amazing thing.
I agree. All right, Taisha, tell us about your first time taking the injection.
I'm going to say it was the same day. And
Wow.
I don't know if it's placebo or what, but I'll tell you, it came in and I was so excited because my first one was through Express Scripts. So I was just like stuck in the FedEx guy, right? It got delivered and I wanted to take it right away. So I did. And then my husband and we went to run some errands. And I remember, so let's say I took it, I'm making up a time, right? This is not accurate. Let's say I took it at 3:00. We left around 3:15 and I was like, man, I haven't eaten today, but I'm not hungry. But I kind of, how you feel a little like when you've gone that long without eating, you kind of feel out of it. And it was just the excitement of everything. So I used to love eating the Kind bars. It was like the salted something. It's like peanut butter and something. Well, we went and got that. And I didn't feel like I normally feel. So again, I wasn't expecting the medication to like work right away. So I don't think it was a placebo. I took a bite out of it and I threw up.
Oh.
I took a bite of the Kind bar and threw
Wow.
up. And I was like, well, I guess I'm not eating that. And I just made like this decision. It was kind of like I was thinking about it, but when that happened, and that's not something bad. It's not like it's got all this horrible stuff in it. And that's the only time I've thrown up on this medication, by the way. And yeah, I remember like I wasn't like obsessing. Even after that happened, we continued on. And then I was like, I'm just not hungry. And so normally I'm always thinking about like what's coming next or, at least I was. I can't say I am now. I didn't feel that. And it was the same day. So I was just amazed, like, get out of here. And then the weight, I'm like, Laraine, because I used to be a multiple time a day weigher.
Oh, girl.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was really obsessive. And so I'm like watching it go down and it kept going down every day. And so I was even more like, okay, I'm waiting for like Wegovy, right? For me on day 3 or 4 for the appetite and stuff to come back. But I still have not had a desire to eat since that first shot. But I can eat. I can eat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just not interested.
Yeah.
It's like a chore, kind of like a chore now.
Yeah, and I will say it is a good feeling. I remember on my Downsized interview, I explained like that first injection, and it was just, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't even believe I was taking an injection. But I guess the biggest thing for me was not so much the food. I noticed a change in my appetite, but the inflammation. I have like a split level home. So you go down a little bit of stairs and I'm in my family room, laundry room, and then you go up and I'm up in my bedroom areas. And so I go up and down those stairs and, it's not a lot of stairs, but I got to the point where when I got to the top or the bottom, mostly the top though, the bottom going down is not as bad. I would just feel it in my knees. Like I felt like an much older lady than I looked like I was, right? And so I just remembered that early on. I just thought, wow, this is amazing. Like, I didn't realize that it would take that inflammation out. And I had just been told maybe a few weeks before that, I can't remember the exact amount of time, but I had gone to the ER because I thought, and I didn't go to urgent care because I was like, I want them to do an ultrasound. I want to know if I have a blood clot because my knee had gotten a little swollen. So they did an ultrasound. I don't know if that's what you call it, of the knee where they, you can see it and they roll the little piece of equipment on there. And it came back that I had a little bit of arthritis in my knee. And so does arthritis go away? Because I don't feel anything. I'm jetting up and down the stairs. And then at work, I counted the steps. We have like 25 that you go up and 25 that you go down. And, so I walk the students to lunch. I walk them to recess. So I'm probably up and down the stairs maybe 3 times out of the day. And, a lot of people, even the slim and trim ones, you get to the top and we're kind of like, we're having a conversation, but we're kind of breathing hard. Well, but some of them now, like I'm keeping up with them. I'm going up those stairs and I'm not breathing hard and I'm talking at a regular pace. So that's just such a good feeling. And that happened even with the weight, coming, not being all the way off. I just think the inflammation happened. So I think for me, and I don't talk about it as much as I should, but that's probably the one thing that's going to keep me on these meds, even if I can maintain, the however many calories I'm eating, but I think I've heard people say when they came off the medication for a week or two or for however long, people who thought they were getting off, they came back on it because they said that they started feeling those aches and pains and, the knee cramps, the, things going on in their joints that they didn't feel taking the medicine. And so I never thought about that. Like that gave me some food for thought. And that's going to probably be one of the things that is going to keep me on the medication, because right now I'm feeling good. So did you guys notice that the inflammation was gone?
Yes.
No, I did. Absolutely.
I didn't really. I mean, I've kind of always said jokingly, I was always a very healthy, overweight person, because I didn't have the high blood pressure or high cholesterol or joint. I hadn't gotten to that point, I guess. As you get older, at some point, the weight is going to wear on you and it's going to cause these problems. And I was probably going that direction, but I hadn't quite gotten there yet. So I know Christopher talks about
I had all the things.
his knee. He has knee problems, and and just for me, I just kind of felt overall better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I have had knee problems since I was in first grade. So I had a cyst in my knee in first grade that had to be removed. I was in a cast for almost a half a year as a 6-year-old. So my right knee has always hurt until I started taking this medication. And
until you started the medication?
Yep. And it stopped hurting like the third weekend almost completely, but now 100 pounds down, it doesn't hurt at all.
That's amazing. That's a great non-scale victory.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my goodness. So since we're talking about the non-scale victories, what has been like the best one for you? What has been the best non-scale victory? Because, I know people want to lose weight, but some of these other things are what motivate me. I don't know about you guys, but it really motivates me when the scale does it. So Taisha, what has been, if you can think of the best one?
I mean, honestly, my favorite thing is the elimination of food noise. I don't think that I can properly express, like, and this is not something just in my adult life, right? Like, even when I was younger, food was like this weird sense of comfort, and I was always looking forward to the next meal. I would eat even when I wasn't hungry. So to not have that anymore, that's number one. The sleep, I have or had, I don't know if it goes away or if your symptoms just improve, but obstructive sleep apnea, right? I wasn't using my CPAP like I should have been, but to be able to sleep and wake up in the morning and feel rested, like, so those are my top two that I can think of in this moment.
Yeah.
Those are good ones. What about you, Tim?
Well, I mean, I absolutely agree with those two.
Yeah,
so those are like pinnacle. That's like life-changing stuff.
Yeah.
The little silly stuff, honestly, is just as meaningful. So getting on a plane and pulling the seatbelt out to where it's like this long, you're like, because I would never quite got to the space where I had to have the extender, but I was worried every time I would, and it was going to be embarrassing.
Yeah.
Or even, the steps, I mean, is a huge one. I mean, we went on a cruise ship, and they have a roller coaster on the top of the cruise ship. They have a scale outside the roller coaster. Didn't show the weight, but it said red or green if you stood on it. I was never standing on that thing. It was not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's amazing how much the little things that you can't do because of your size and your weight just impact the quality of your life. And you don't think it matters that much until you're there and you're like, turns out I walked into Old Navy and everything in there I could wear.
Yeah.
Not just one thing.
But everything.
Right.
Oh, and that's
not a little section.
It was the clothes, right? It was the clothes. I was a clothing buyer for 15 years, so I was constantly in the fashion merchandising world, in the retail world, shopping stores that I could never fit into anything in there. And it was always so disheartening not to be able to wear any of these things. Sometimes I was making buys for the store I was working for, but I couldn't wear these. So just to be able to go to such a smaller, I went from a 12-14 to a 4-6. So I'd
Wow.
never been a 4-6, even like growing up in middle school, anything. I'd always been a 12, like my whole life, it seems like. So that to me was a great feeling, a great non-scale victory.
I would agree. I would say, Taisha, you probably, if this was like the Family Feud, you would probably have the top two, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
1 and 2. So I would say it's the little things for me too, like, sitting somewhere with my daughter, we can both fit in the seat now, comfortably. We were at the doctor's office and they had this little, like a little mini couch almost, you could fit 2 people on there. And, we had lots of room. It was just so cool, those little things, we go to musicals and plays and, just to, sitting there and not feel like I'm squashing her and not trying to calculate sitting on the end because I didn't want to be, my hips to be spread over. So little things like that is the things that I appreciate. Of course, the clothes, because I have such a lot of clothes. And actually, this shirt I have on now, it's probably bigger than it should be. But, and I could, some things I thought, I look at it. And so that's why I think in my mind, I don't really think I have lost 65 pounds. Like I know it, but I don't feel like it. And, some of the clothes I looked at, I think I can't get in that. And so I put it on and it's too big.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, wow, what a good feeling. So yeah, those non-scale victories, I really celebrate those every week. And I really hold on to those when maybe the scale moves, but not like you thought, right? Because sometimes I I feel like, I counted my calories. I had a great week. I exercised 3 to 4 times a week. Then you get on that scale. And I always say this, that 0.2 drives me insane. I'm like, where is the whole pound? Can I get a whole pound? So the non-scale victories, I was able to, zip up like a vest, those vests you put over, instead of a coat. And I had this one and it was so cute. And I thought, I'm buying this because I know I'm going to get into it. And I was able to get into it and zip it up. So I was so excited about that. So those are some of the things that, keep me motivated. So what about for you guys? I think Chris said he really hasn't had a stall. He didn't have a stall. And I guess technically, I remember talking to Dr. Dan. I know you guys also talked to Dr. Dan. I have a friend that's a plastic surgeon, and he told me, a stall is not losing for 1 or 2 weeks. A stall is like not losing over time. And so, I know now it's weeks and months and possibly months if is considered a stall or a plateau. So have you guys ever experienced that?
Well,
Really
I mean, I think a lot of people will confuse a stall with weight loss slowing because you're getting smaller. So I was basically 286, almost 300 pounds. I wasn't weighing. So I was, pretty big guy. Turns out when you lose 20 pounds at 286, that's a pretty small percentage of your body weight. But as I got closer to my goal, that 190 pounds, 180 pounds, 20 pounds is a much larger percentage of your body weight. So the first 50 pounds took basically 4 or 5 months. The last 50 pounds took another 9 months, right? So it just was slower. And I kept going and I still felt good. And honestly, in that time, probably the other non-scale victory, it was, I don't have to take my blood pressure medicine or my cholesterol medicine at this point.
Yeah.
That I had taken for 25 years.
Wow.
Right?
That is amazing.
And although those medications keep you where you should be medically, I didn't realize how much you don't really feel right. Like it's adjusting it, but it's not the same as your blood pressure being correct. Does that make sense?
Oh,
Sure.
You haven't told me about that.
Why? Because I didn't really know that. It was like, it was working and doing what the doctor wanted it to do.
Yeah.
But now that I think about what it was doing and how I feel now when my blood pressure is just a normal blood pressure are two completely different things.
Wow.
That is so cool. And I'm sure a lot of people out there can relate to that as well. What about you? Did you hit a stall ever? I think you did, Laraine, didn't you? Or no?
I didn't. I mean, I had some weeks where I went up because we went on vacation or colonoscopy or whatever. But I think those times when I ate a little bit more calories, like vacation or, whatever, I think that propelled me to keep going. I think, if you're eating at a calorie deficit, your body gets very used to processing those calories, right? It becomes very good at keeping you alive and using what you're giving it to do all the things your body needs to do. And then if you ramp up your calories for a minute, a couple days, your body goes, oh, we're not starving to death anymore. All right, I can stop working so hard. And then if you immediately drop it back down, like you come back from vacation and you drop your calories back down, your body is burning at a higher level, and then you drop it back down and it takes it a minute to kind of get back going. So I kind of like a calorie shifting kind of feeling. I've seen people do that on different diets too, just move instead of eating at the same calorie level, kind of, bounce around a little bit to keep your body guessing what's coming at it. So I think just maybe not meaning to, but just kind of that's what happened in my journey. But I really didn't have, and I keep a spreadsheet. I got a spreadsheet of all my weeks. So, I mean, I can go back and look, and I really didn't have a week where I was like 0. But
wow, that's great.
That's just me. But now, in the maintenance mode, I've got like a 4-pound range I try to stay within, right? So at one point, my maintenance weight was 10 pounds higher than I am now. So I hit that maintenance weight, but I kept losing, even though I was dropping down my dosage. So finally I had to figure out, well, where do I really want to be? And what dosage is going to help me to maintain my weight? I don't want to drop down any further.
And how many calories?
But I don't count calories because I was traumatized by Weight Watchers and points and, everything for years. So I want to be able to, sounds stupid, but eat intuitively. I want to be hungry at meal times. I want to eat high protein meals at meal times and really not eat at other times of the day. That's what I do.
Someone that said in the chat, I just happened to look over and said that was called calorie cycling. I knew it had a name for it.
2.0
Thank
mommy.
you.
Hello, 2.0 mommy.
mommy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people do that with carbs too. Carb cycling.
Carb cycling.
If you don't eat carbs, I like carbs. I've tried that method. I've tried that method. It's hard for me. If you tell me I can't eat a particular thing, that it doesn't work, right? I can't live like that. So to me, that's why no food is off limits. If I really want to have ice cream one day, we'll go and get ice cream. We don't keep it in the house. We don't have it every day. Right, but occasionally, stuff like that is fine. And I can't eat the whole container now. Like I go back with the spoon. Nobody's looking. I'm going to go back with the spoon and keep eating. So I don't have the urge to do that anymore.
All right. What about you, T?
Did you ever,
you didn't hear the style? Did you?
You know what? No, nothing that I never considered anything a stall, right? When I was in that active weight loss phase, my weight was going down. There were maybe out of the whole entire time, even on maintenance, there may be 5 times where it went up a little bit, but then it went back down, So there was nothing where I was just like, oh my God, it's going up. I mean, I just know that that's part of the process. Now, there was a period, I want to say, of 7 weeks where nothing seemed to be happening, right? But I still kept going. But it was happening. So when I got that DEXA scan, I had learned that I had basically, and I'm probably mixing up the numbers, right? Let's say I either gained 2.4 pounds of muscle and lost 2.5 pounds of fat, or it was, the other one was 2.5 and 2.4. But either way, that looks the same on the scale. So if I wasn't getting DEXA scans, and if I had been at that point still like where the scale was leading me like it used to, that could have messed up my head. But 7 weeks, the same. but things were happening. So no, I didn't have any stalls or plateaus. Nothing
Well, and
that I
you
would
said
consider that.
you were doing weights through that time too, right? So
Yep.
you were losing the fat, because that's what we want to do, is lose the fat, and you were gaining the muscle. So it was what you were doing was working. So
Yeah.
that's, we have a scale that measures your, approximate body fat percent, muscle mass, all that kind of thing. So if you guys don't have one of those, I highly recommend one. And we have an app, and it syncs to our phone. And sometimes when the number, there's so much more to weight loss than just the number, right? So you want to keep the muscle you have. You want to possibly build muscle, but you can't always. You can't pick what your body's going to offload or build. So it's nice to have those other charts and things to see how your progress is going.
I agree.
Can I
I'm
add
trying to
something?
think. Yes.
Okay. So that's why I know that everybody is probably sick of hearing me say it, but that is why I tell people, especially at the size that I was, right? I wasn't 300 or 400 pounds. I was big for me, but losing so much weight in the beginning so quickly, I lost a lot of muscle. And I think that's why I really try to not preach, to drill into people. Don't worry about everybody else that may seem like they're losing weight faster, because without getting, like, you guys have that scale that tells you your fat and muscle.
Yeah.
They're probably losing muscle because you're not losing 14 pounds of fat in that small amount of time, right?
Yeah.
So that's
that's
what
I did lose
straightened me
muscle
out.
at the beginning. Yeah. I did lose,
and
I did lose a good bit of muscle. So
you did too.
Now I'm trying to build it back.
That's where I am, trying to just rebuild. And I still, even though I've been building muscle, I still have not gotten back to the muscle that I had in January of 2024. So like, I still haven't made it back up, but I'm definitely.
What did you weigh in January of 2024? How much have you lost since then?
That's a good question. I have to look at my DEXA scan, right? I want to say that I had 108
remember,
pounds.
You don't need as much muscle if you're not carrying around as much weight.
Oh, that's your point. Okay. So maybe that shouldn't be a goal, right?
No, and it's, and it's different for men, and men naturally have more muscle, but a heavier person with a higher BMI needs more muscle just to move through the world, right? It needs more muscle to move your body around. So, I mean, at some point when you become that smaller person, do you need less muscle? I don't know. I don't want to lose any muscle, but maybe that's part of it.
No, thank you for that.
We'll ask Dr. Dan that question.
Well, no, really, Christopher, thank you, because in my mind, right, like it's not something like I'm actively like, oh, I'm trying to build muscle so I can get back to before. But like when I see the DEXA scans, it's just kind of like a bummer, right? Because I'm not at that point.
I think it's a snapshot in time of who you were at that moment.
Yeah.
And you're not trying to become that person again.
Mm-mm.
You're trying to be the best you right now, right? So what is whatever percentage of muscle, whatever weight, whatever. So what is that number? I have no idea, but you and your doctor can figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no value in worrying about what was going on back then. Thank you. Seriously.
That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Have you guys ever gotten a DEXA scan? I just got one the other day.
Oh, you did? Huh? What did you think?
Well, I was reluctant to get one because I thought, all this hype about this DEXA scan, what is going on? And I got one, and I'm going to share my results. I'm going to make a video about it. Let's just say that the strategy I started with, slow and steady, it's a great thing I did it that way, because my results, I had some better results than I thought I would have. Now I still have that visceral fat that I have to tackle with. And I could see that. Like, I didn't need to go to DEXA scan to tell me that. I could see that for myself. But yeah, I was very happy with myself and impressed with myself. I will say that. So I do see the value in getting a DEXA scan. And I don't, I thought it was kind of more expensive. I guess a deal where I get a follow-up too, which brought the price down. In my mind. Now I know, like Taisha, she could get hers for $25. Mine was $185 or something like that. And then I got a discount, like a 10% discount, and then I got that bundle. So that justified. And then I had another test too, like they did the your metabolism. And so
the resting metabolic rate.
Yes. And all that was so eye-opening. And I always say, knowledge is power. So that equipped me to take what I got from there and just kind of, I'm going to revamp some things. And I go back in August. And so, we set goals for me when I go back in August. And my doctor said, when I asked her, because I was thinking, maybe she could refer to me where I could go and get a DEXA scan or in-body scan, somebody's scan, any scan. And she said, oh, you do not need a DEXA scan. She's like, your bones are just fine. I said, how do you know? And she's like, you don't need a DEXA scan. I'm telling you, you're fine. And so I meet with her in May. So I'm going to roll up in there with my DEXA scan in the folder and take it on up to her. And we're going to go through it now. She might tell me she's not going to say she doesn't want to do it, but I just can't wait to get her response because she would not recommend anybody. She just said I didn't, need to do it. So, but yeah, I think it's value. I think it definitely is value. I just think for $185, I don't know. I just thought to myself when I saw that equipment, like this isn't fancy enough for $185 a person.
Well, I mean, my question, because I think it's more than that where we are. We're in Charlotte, North Carolina. I think it's a couple $100. And now
it's about what she paid.
And now the scale that we use, I'm sure is not as accurate, but I have 700 data points in it. So I promise you the trend, because that's how long we've been weighing, right? I promise you the trend is pretty spot on. So the question becomes, if I could get it for $25, absolutely, let's go right now.
Oh yeah.
For $200, well, what are you going to learn different, and then what action are you going to take different?
Yeah.
Or is it just cool data? And I'm okay with cool data. There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, I kind of would like to know that my basal metabolic rate or
RMR. I think they called it the RMR. That was key. I'm glad I got that. That was in the bundle because that information is probably it's gonna propel me to be where I want to be. I thought that was a good piece, but that's not in the DEXA scan. That was even extra.
That was extra. Yeah, because I've always wondered about really how many calories, if I were to count calories, how many calories really am I supposed to be eating a day to maintain my weight? If I want to drop weight, where is that? Because my scale app says it's about 1,480. And I'm like, is that really right? Because that sounds like, I don't know. So that's what I'd want to know.
No, I see Kristen's Memories. What a great name. She said that there's a DEXA scan for half price through Groupon. I have Groupon.
I looked. There was not one in Charlotte.
I've scoured the internet for deals. I have found one, but you have to schedule it, and it's a I don't know, truck that comes around, and they park outside a gym, and you can go in, and we'll get to it eventually. One of these days.
Now, Chris hit on it earlier when he talked about the cholesterol medication, and I just had a cholesterol experience myself. When I went to the doctor, my cholesterol, last year it was a 188, and my LDL was a little slightly higher. It's supposed to be 100 or lower. It was like 100. The triglycerides were great, and what else is there they look at? I think the HDL, the good cholesterol. All of that was great, but it was that LDL that was slightly raised up now to 123, and I want to say they say 130 is a concern. But my overall cholesterol went from a 188 to a 197. So that kind of surprised me. So that's what prompted me to give up meat for Lent, except for I am eating seafood. So I'm eating salmon and tuna.
There's not a whole lot of cholesterol in seafood. You're okay.
Yeah. So that's what, and I know it could be in shrimp, but I really haven't eaten shrimp. But that's an option if I wanted to. I think I don't know, Lent ends April 17th. So I'm pretty close to ending, but so I gave up the meat because it's saturated fat, right? And then trans fat. So I've been watching out for that. So I'll be interested in May when I go back to my doctor to see how that went. But she used to always joke, your cholesterol is better than my cholesterol. So I was just so surprised that it kicked up. But somebody told me when you're going through perimenopause and if you're in the menopause stage, that also contributes to an increase in cholesterol.
And
So-
age and genetics will both contribute.
Genetics is,
Yeah.
but if your levels were always good before and now they're higher, I would be
I
like,
think it's the protein. I know. I think it has to be the
Like, why?
protein. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's why I said, let me take something out that
Yeah.
I've never eaten this much protein in my life. This is like, I feel like I'm maxed out on the protein. And so I said, let me remove something and see. So, it'll just be hit or miss and see what she says. And, I'm hoping it goes back to the 180s because it's not over that 200 or higher, but it's at that 197. So I feel like I'm like on the edge of the cliff and somebody just needs to tap me and push me over. And I don't want to do that. So I want to kind of bring it down. So I've been kind of eating more close to Taisha. The great thing about that is, I was putting my information in MyFitnessPal and, my meals for the week. And my fiber is 44. Like, usually I'm like, you should get 25 or more. On a good day, I can reach that 25, but not often. And so, and then, I was having constipation as one of the side effects that, I've had since day one. And so now I haven't needed to take anything to keep me moving. I'm just regular. And I love that. So it's like, it's just going to be like April 17th. I'm looking forward to like having like that piece of chicken, but I'm also I'm not looking forward to having that constipation. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I never know what I'm going to do until I wake up.
Well, 44 grams of fiber in a day is quite a bit. So that would definitely get things moving.
Yes. So I said that is really good. So that's, besides my A1C going from a 7.6, now it's at a 5.9, and I got to get it under that 5.7. My goal is 5.6 at least. And then, my high blood pressure, it was hovering in the 130s and 40s. And now it's, when I went November, it was perfect, 120/80. And then when I just went here recently, I'm just going to estimate, I want to say it was like 107/80, 70, something like that. It was really good. And so I'm excited about that. But I know I've been eating a little bit more sodium too, here and there. And so that's kind of why I pushed back from that element too. But that element, I was drinking that every day at first. And then I stopped, which is the electrolytes, that salty water that Chris calls it. And I scaled back. And, when I scaled back, I thought, okay, I'll just drink it 3 times a week. And I like the taste of it. And so that's why I was, drinking it 3 times a week. I didn't really need it. I originally started because I was having muscle cramps. And then, so now I've scaled it back to like 1 day, which is on my injection day. And that's, that's all I will have, but it has not affected my blood pressure. My blood pressure has continued to go down and be normal and great. So those are my numbers. Like what numbers have you guys experienced that have come down besides the weight? Because I think, that's one of the other benefits that you don't hear a lot about in the media. You hear a lot about the weight loss, but you don't hear about the other numbers that really affect your health that come down taking these medications. So can you guys share, do you know any of your numbers that have improved?
I mean, I just went to the doctor, last week, 2 weeks ago, and they're all good. I mean, so my cholesterol had been trending up. Like I was at that high end of normal before I lost the 50 pounds. And then now it's come back. It's still in the, in normal, but the higher side of normal. But, my dad has it, and my high blood pressure also runs in my family. But my blood pressure has always been good. So yeah, I don't know.
I couldn't. I don't remember the numbers.
I wasn't prepared for this quiz, ma'am.
I wasn't prepared for that test. I mean, I can tell you
okay.
I lost basically 50 pounds in the first 4 months or something like that, and got to moving my daughter into college or out of college or something like that. And almost went down. Like I stood up and just my blood pressure had changed so much. So I pretty quickly went to the doctor, and he had been monitoring me all throughout. And he's like, so he immediately cut my blood. I had to cut my blood pressure pills in half, get a little cutter, chop them in half.
Wow.
And then since that, I mean, I don't have to have that at all. So but I have no memory of the numbers. I'm not good at that.
No, that's okay.
We have it in our app. I could go look.
He doesn't remember what day my birthday is.
I do.
That's so funny.
She was born on St. Patrick's Day.
I was not.
She's a leprechaun.
That's not. He always thinks it's one or the other. He knows it's one or the other. So if he makes fun of one,
it's not St. Patrick's Day.
That is so funny.
He's not a numbers. Right. He's not a numbers.
Hey, what
guy.
about you? Do you remember any numbers?
Of course I don't remember, but people are probably like, what is she looking at? I was pulling it up. I pulled up what calories that a sports nutritionist told me I should be eating, but we're not on that subject anymore.
Oh no, I want to know how many calories you should be eating.
All right. So I'm going to do this first, right? Okay. I don't have the before numbers. That I just couldn't navigate all that. I do have when I went and got blood work done in December, my cholesterol was 134. My triglycerides are 58, LDL 66, DHDL 57. Those are the and A1C was 5. Yeah. So definitely an improvement, because I do remember the range and being outside of the ranges before for like my cholesterol, which even back in the day when I was skinny, I had high cholesterol. So it was my diet, right? It wasn't, it's not always the size. Yeah. So and then my blood pressure, I wish I could remember exactly what it was, but they were just like, this is great. I was like, oh, okay. Hey, I'll take it. But before, it used to run 120/80. So it's not like I ever had, there were a few times where it was a little elevated, but nothing that was like, I've never been on medication for that or anything. So we're looking good. We're looking good. I think it was like 110/70 something. So that's good. Yeah.
All right. So I wonder, I saw this question in the chat, and I kind of had this question I wanted to ask you guys. So I'll let when we take the questions from the chat, I'll let it stay in the chat. So I'm going to ask you a different question. I wonder, what keeps you guys motivated on the hard days? You guys are the Downsized, you're in maintenance. So are you, Simply Taisha. So I want to know this for me too. Like what keeps you guys motivated on those hard days? Like what kept you going?
I don't really think about it like that anymore. Like I just this is just kind of our life now, right? So we take our shot once a week on Friday, and we'll go out to dinner on the weekends, and but we don't go maybe overboard like we used to, right? Because we just don't want to. You know what I mean? My drinking has come way down to almost nothing, and that's just benefited me, all around. And, I still go to the gym because I like being around the people. I like the class. I mean, I really like this place where I go. So, sometimes I'm not motivated to go and I don't go, and that's fine. But most of the time I'm going. Okay. So, but I mean, it's just, what do you think about that?
I think what's interesting about this is because these medications are a medical treatment for the disease of obesity. They're not a diet.
Right.
So if you guys watched the Oprah special, Oprah, one of the doctors, talked about being on a diet was basically like holding your breath underwater. And you could do it for a little while, but at some point you had to come up for air because you were punishing your body. That's not what this is at all.
Yeah.
And until you start taking these medications and honestly get 3 or 4 months into it, you can't, there's no possible way to comprehend the mind shift that happens, such that are some days easier than others. Of course, it's life. Don't get me wrong. There's always something going on, but we eat different. We shop different. I don't feel like I'm deprived 99% of the time. If I want something, I will still eat it. I love a cinnamon roll. About once every 6 months, I'll find a small one, and then I'll eat like a quarter of it and be like, that was plenty. I don't need anything else.
Right.
Like it was Lorraine's birthday 2 weeks ago. We made a birthday cake, and honestly, it sat there and we threw 2/3 of it away.
Well, you don't like cake anyway, but
Right,
I love cake.
But
and
normally it would have been gone. in a day.
Normally, I'm going back all day long for the
Right.
cake.
So it wasn't.
I
It
just
wasn't
kinda
that it was.
forgot about
It
it.
wasn't that it was hard. I mean, and I don't want anybody to think that it's all a bed of roses, because it's not. Some days are harder than others.
Yeah.
But you see a little bit of success, and your mindset changes, and you just say it's worked. I believe it's going to work, and you take that shot every week. If there's only one piece of advice you take from me, it's take the shot every week. Period.
That was going to be my next question, because honestly, I just watched a video today about someone who was saying that they, don't take the shots on their vacation. They stopped taking their shot for this or for that. It wasn't medical things, really. It was just kind of like, they wanted to be able to enjoy food at a festival and those sorts of things. And I just thought, what do you guys, have you guys skipped, and I don't really have a judgment of how people do it, but I just wonder, to me, I'm just going to take that baby. I don't care where I'm going. I don't care if I'm traveling around the world, it's traveling around the world with me. And so I just think, like, structure and routine, right? It's a part of your routine. It's part of your structure. That's just my thinking. What about you guys? I know you go on the cruise and you take it.
I take the shot. I've only missed one shot,
yeah.
and it was because of a colonoscopy. So if your doctor needs you to take it, please stop. Do what your doctor says. But it's just our life is different now, and if you want to live the life that you lived a year ago, just stop taking the shots. Okay, it's not.
Well, and three months into our journey, we went on a cruise, and we were going with some friends, and I had bought the drink package, so I'm like, I'm not taking the shot, because really, I can't really drink when I'm on. Like, it doesn't taste good. I don't, and I was like, well, we've had this plan, we're going with friends, and I want to have a good time and eat all the food. And so I didn't take my shot, and we went on the cruise, and I think I was up 3 or 4 pounds in like a week or whatever. And I came back and took my shot, and that got, resolved that. And I was like, you know what? That's not really, if I'm going to be doing this basically for the rest of my life, then I have to make this work with my life. Right. So now we go on vacations or cruises or whatever, and we carry it with us, and we take it on the day that we normally take our shot. And I guess I was worried that I was going to miss out on something. Mm-hmm. Like there was going to be like this special food that that wasn't, I don't know. And isn't that silly, right? I mean, because nothing's leaving.
No, because I thought that too.
Right? Nothing's leaving the planet. Chardonnay is still going to be coming out of California. You know what I mean? So it's always going to be there. I just don't need to have it all the time, or and that was kind of hard for me to get around to like. This is how I want to live my life. If I want to live my life at 200 pounds, well, I could go back to what I used to do. But if I want to live my life at 140 pounds, I'm taking my shot and watching, and not eating so much.
And I don't think people understand how much skipping a shot impacts you. So most people know if you take the shot, it has a 7-day half-life. So after about, or it has a 5-day half-life. So after about 5 days, it starts to diminish, and you'll feel the effects change a little bit. What they don't realize is what happens is that half-life builds on itself. So over the course of 28 days or 4 shots, it's building in your system.
You kind of
such that it begins to even out. And there's shot calculators and dose calculators. You can go look at it, and it'll show you all the stuff. So when you skip a shot, you don't just impact that week. You impact the next 28 days.
Yeah.
So you're just making it harder on yourself for the next month.
Yeah, I had to skip. I skipped 2. I had a colonoscopy in November, and the doctor said to be off the shot for 7 days. And I said, I'm I know better. I'm going to skip 2 shots. Well, I ended up going 17 days with just the
Wow.
way the calendar fell. And then after the colonoscopy, I was hungry. Like, and it took a couple of weeks to ramp it back up to, for my level to get back up to where it was again. So I do not recommend skipping it unless, a medical procedure or something like that. But that was my little kind of experiment with it. And why I thought I needed to skip 2 when the doctor told me what, like, I don't know, if somebody online or somebody said blah, 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 blah. So listen to your doctor, right? We're not doctors. Listen to your doctor.
Great advice. What about you, Taisha?
Now you know the answer to that. I have to work. So I don't judge people that do that. It's a little bit annoying when I see people that are already struggling on it, and then they decide, well, I'm not going to take it so I can go have fun. And it's like, you're missing the point. But then I also have to remember that when I was on Wegovy, I wasn't in the proper headspace either of lifestyle changes. So I have to just make myself realize they're not there yet. They're not there yet. But if we want to be taken seriously, we want insurance companies to cover it. You can't be half in and half out. You either have to know that I'm going to make these lifestyle changes, which, like Laraine and Christopher and you guys eat the same thing. You just eat less. So it's not about being restrictive. But if you're not taking it so that you can overeat, that doesn't make sense to me. Now that's not something I did. I mean, I just wasn't making good choices. But to take it so you can do the things that got you in the situation in the first place,
right?
I can't. I'm trying. I'm trying to, because I know that it's it's hard. It's hard for some people. It's harder. It's more hard for others. And that, to me, that's not a slip up. That's a conscious choice.
Yeah.
To put your body through that.
And people have to kind of figure that out for themselves. It wasn't anything like he's like, I'm taking my shot. You should take your shot. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to take my shot. And you can't make me take my shot. You know what I mean? So I just had to.
I didn't say that.
I had to.
You do you, girl.
People. Everybody's on their own journey, right? You kind of have to figure things out for yourself as you go along in terms of what works for you and what doesn't. And I see people doing some crazy stuff on these journeys, right? I'm sure you guys have seen that too. And you just kind of, if that works for you, that's great. That probably wouldn't work for me, but God bless.
It kind of reminds me of the mentality that, I think a lot of us had when we thought, okay, we messed up, so we'll start on Monday, right? That kind of mentality. We'll start on the next time. And I think the best thing about the medication for me as far as food is, if my daughter has snacks and treats, or if I'm out with her and I taste a little bit of it, I don't go, okay, I'm going to, just blow it today and I'll start tomorrow. Yeah, I'm right back at it the next bite. I'm making a better choice. And so that just makes me so proud, and I feel so in control of things, because before, and then I can see how you can get into that roller coaster of, okay, I'll start tomorrow, and then tomorrow you mess up. Okay, I'll start the next day, and then there goes that start on Monday. And and geez Louise, if you did this on a Monday, you got a whole nother week to
a whole week of eating whatever you want.
I've said that a million times, right? Same. Who hasn't? I'll start on Monday.
I'll just start on the first.
Yeah.
Okay, so one quick question, and then we're going to go to the chat. And I don't know, can you guys see the chat? Do you see the questions in there? I've seen some questions, but I haven't focused on them.
I can't
But
see
I
them.
just want to, ask you guys, for people who, come across this video and they watch it, and, what's the best piece of advice you could give them if they're, thinking about starting a GLP-1, or, they are just started a GLP-1, or some people who just are, maybe they're stuck and they need, that advice might, get them going again. What advice would you offer? Taisha, we're going.
Okay. First of all, you need a mindset shift. the things that you did before, that let's not do that. Take your shot every week as your, however it's prescribed by your doctor. Take it that way. Don't, you have to eat. You have to eat. I understand that we don't have the desire to eat, because I haven't had it since I started, but you have to eat. That is so important. This starving yourself for a few days and then making it up, don't do that. Don't do that. If you have to supplement because you just really can't eat food, and I mean, like, take it and put it in your mouth. Like, just because you don't have the desire, it doesn't mean that you can't eat.
Yeah.
Okay. So that, to me, that's the biggest thing. You have to eat and take your medication like it's prescribed. Don't get caught up in the injection sites and all this other nonsense that's out there. And I don't want to, not nonsense. There's
Everyone's
just so
on their
many
own journey,
things.
Taisha. Yeah.
People make it so much more complicated than it needs to be. Just take your shot every week, unless your doctor tells you to take it a different way, and eat and stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. Don't go out buying all these supplements. If you need them, then, cross that bridge when you get there. But just don't make this complicated. It's not. It really isn't. A lot of it is our mindsets, and a lot of us have struggled. I didn't struggle my whole life, but 14 years of struggling was enough. And I understand I feel like I can understand, and we have to make different changes, or lifestyle changes. So take the shot, drink your water, and don't overcomplicate it.
Good advice. Good advice, Taisha.
That's it. That's all I have.
I think mine would be focus on protein. In addition to everything, take your shot, of course, is number one. Focus on protein. If all you can eat is 5 bites of food, that better be some chicken breast or some turkey or some salmon. Like, you better get some protein in those first bites. Eat your protein first. Try to eat find out how much protein you should be eating from an online calculator or your doctor, and try to hit those goals, because it'll just make everything better. It's more satiating. It'll stay with you longer. It'll help you keep your muscle, maybe. But that's, drink your water, maybe go for a walk, Christopher Durham.
Yeah. Christopher's like, I got this. I'm all right.
Can't tell him nothing.
I'm doing just fine. Thank you
No,
very much.
he's doing great, right? He lost 102 pounds. So,
but,
he's very basic. What's your top advice? Take a shot.
I'm with Taisha. It's take your shot. Keep it simple. You can overcomplicate it if you want to, but you are not going to lose any more weight by overcomplicating. I'll tell you right now. On average, I lost 1.5 pounds per week. Okay, that is right there, a little above on the top end. Most people are going to lose between 0.5 and 2 pounds, no matter what you do. No matter what you do. Okay, so it's the science. It's over time. It's not this week to next. It's the science.
Right.
So do it. And then, the hardest part of this is patience, but it's the thing that works.
I have no patience. I was calculating how quick can I lose 50. If I lose at this rate in this many weeks, what will I weigh? So I was doing that every single week. Like, I would calculate my rate of loss and then project it out and be like, yay. And for how much, what's your rate of loss? I don't know. I could look on my app.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I weigh every day. I look at all the numbers. I track it, but the reality for me is the everyday doesn't really matter. It's that week to week, that month to month. It's the, looking at the trend and where is it going. Now, the first 3 months, the first month I lost 17 pounds. That's all freaking awesome.
And I was like,
you wake up every day, you're like, heck yeah.
My first month I lost 6.8, and Mr. 17 pounds over here. I was like, all right. But I was thrilled with my 6.8, right? Because I'd never lost that much in a week on Weight Watchers. So I was thrilled.
That's great.
But I'm down 36% of my body weight at this point. So
you beat the clinical trials,
so take your shot. The best day to start is today.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't read all the Facebook and the Reddit and the crap. Only 20 to 30% of people even get constipated in this journey.
I get constipated.
You might not, or you might if you
Right.
do manage it.
Yes.
Yeah. Not if
You know,
you're
that's all
24
great
grams, whatever.
advice.
Yeah.
I would say, you know, again, if we were on Family Feud, you guys have hit the top 10 or the top 5, the top 3. But, you know, I would like to add to that. I think, you know, people need to find, first of all, I hope you're working with a doctor or some kind of healthcare professional, because I feel like the people I see on Facebook, you know, I had to get out of some of those Facebook groups. I'm going to get in yours, Laraine.
Yeah.
I had to get out some of those groups because people were asking questions, and I just thought, like, where is the guidance? Like, who prescribed this and just left them out there? And you know, I feel like my doctor didn't really tell me, you know, to eat this and eat that and do this and do that. But I could call her for support, right? If I needed to, I could text her. I could, you know, not text her, but email her through our little portal here. You know, she responds within 24 hours. So I had that support. And I feel like people don't have that. And they're going to, you know, the Facebook groups and the different groups looking for guidance. And so whoever prescribed you the medication, I would say, you know, hopefully they have like some kind of doctors or healthcare professionals that you can check in with. Because I do realize everyone doesn't have insurance and everyone isn't going to a doctor. But I would find that support. And then I would seek, you know, somebody to talk to about it, because I think this journey is lonely for a lot of people. You know, that kind of makes me sad because, you know, I chose to go the lonely road at first on my own because I just, you know, didn't want to tell anybody. But once I told people, it just was a sense of like, I'm not alone, you know, like I think that, you know, that is so important to find that. And it could be in a family member. It could be, you know, here on YouTube. It could be, you know, a friend or at work that, you know, is taking it. But I would just have somebody to, you know, to kind of talk to. And that's what I love about the dynamic duo. I feel like you guys are a team, right? You're on this journey together. I love when the husband and wife teams are on it together, or somebody's doing it with a family member and they have that support, because I think that is encouraging. And that was the whole purpose of Weight Watchers. Group support is proven. It's research based that group support works. And so, you know, it reminds me of, you know, it's funny. It reminds me of COVID. Remember when, I don't know if we're supposed to say that, but during that time, when that all was going on, the people I knew who said, you know, they didn't like being around people. They didn't care about people. They didn't, you know, they were just over people. They were the first ones saying, I got to be around people. We can't come out of our house. Everything's shut down. These were the people who didn't even want to be around people. So, you know, when you think about it, you know, we are made to be amongst people and to be in community with people. And so I think that you have to find that on this journey, you know, in addition to, you know, taking your medication, you know, not skipping a dose and all of that. I think it is, you know, you'll be more successful with some support. And, you know, the people I see falling off, you know, we even see in our, you know, lives and our, you know, the things that we're doing, you know, when people aren't around and, you know, you just wonder like what's going on with them. A lot of those people are struggling and they don't want to come out and say it. And so I feel like this is you know, we all want to create that safe space where you can come out and say it, because, you know, I'm probably saying mine on camera, you know, when I'm struggling and not having the best week. And so, you know, I want to be able to still say that because I want to relate to people, because I know everybody is going through it. You know, life happens. But even though life happens, we're going to still take that shot and still take that injection, right, to get us through it. So, all right. So Chris and Taisha, and I don't know if you can see Laraine because he looks like he's closer. Can you guys see the chat? Is there any? Mel, I see gave us a super chat.
Mel gave you a super chat. Pop that up there. Thank you, Mel.
Thank you. Didi, LG, Taisha, and CD. You each represent such different experiences and demographics. I appreciate you guys. Question. What's one thing you do differently if you could? Great question. I'm a creature of habit, so
I'd start sooner. I would start sooner.
Start sooner.
I have something. When we started, we didn't know that if a dose was working, you could stay on that dose. So we got a 3-month supply. We got a month of 2.5, a month of 5, a month of 7.5. And we were told just to go on, you know, in that order. And so we did. And when I got through that first 3 months, I was like, I started, you know, just crowdsourcing from the internet, like, oh, well, yeah, I'm doing really good on 7.5. Well, maybe I should stay on 7.5. So I would probably have stayed on the lower doses longer, because I did well. I did well on the lower doses, the middle. I mean, so, if you can, if you're somebody who gets easily constipated or gets easily nauseous, and you can stay on those lower doses if they're working, and that might help alleviate some of that. But some people don't have side effects at all, so God bless. But yeah, I would stay on a dose. I would stay on the doses, the each dose longer if I was starting over today.
I agree with you. What about you, Taisha?
I know that I'm not supposed to say I can't think of anything, but I feel like everything that I did, like when I started off, how I was obsessing about the scale and getting on multiple times a day, and I was super stoked about, losing quickly. When I had that scan, it just put things in perspective. And so if that hadn't have happened, I don't know how my journey would have gone. Right? Like if I wasn't getting those scans and I had just kept on, clearly I wasn't eating enough. Like I felt like I was, but I wasn't, because I wouldn't have lost that much so quickly, right? 18 pounds. And I wasn't at Christopher's weight, I was at 183. So that was a lot. So I started strength training. Like, let's see, I started Zepbound on February 21st. I started strength training on March 4th. So like, I feel like this time I could give you regrets about the Wegovy, but for this journey, I don't have anything that I can think of in this moment that I would have done differently. I feel like it led me here.
Great.
Well, that makes sense.
Taisha, I look at your channel. I'm always like just fascinated by, you're a vegan and you make these wonderful looking bowls, wonderful looking things, and you're putting it all out there on Instagram, and you're putting your work, you got a camera and you're on your walking pad in like fast motion, and you're doing your weights. And I'm like, wow, she's like doing all, like, maybe I should be taking like she really is doing all the things. So, I mean, I really just applaud you for just like sticking to all those things and making it such a public forum where people can go and get ideas and get inspiration. And, if I'm looking for vegan meals, I always direct people to your channel. I'm like, yeah, if you're vegan, follow Simply Taisha, because she's going to be posting it every day, and you can see
that's where they're coming from.
Things you may not have.
That's where those followers are coming from.
Yeah, I shout it out because I'm just really so impressed with how well you do daily postings. I applaud you.
Yeah, that is. Wow. That is worth applauding.
Thank you.
All right. Tammy says, good evening, all. I've been looking forward to this collabo. I learned so much from you all in your respective journeys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'm scrolling down for questions, comments. Beverly says, Christopher, I cannot wait to be where you are with no pain in the knee. There is hope for me.
Yeah, yes, there is. Yes. And there's a bunch of research on knee pain actually around this stuff. We do a news show every week, and we've reported a couple of good research projects out there. If you Google them, there's a lot of hope for knees around this.
He would know when the rain was coming because his knee would hurt more.
All right, I love the memories. Kirsten's memories. Yes, the food noise being gone. My life is so much calmer now because my brain is calmer. Food noise. Fred is gone. Bye, Fred. Bye, Fred.
Makes me think of Drop Dead Fred.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay, Butterfly says, my goal was to start weight loss meds to lose the weight gained and regained healthy lifestyle. Since being on GLP-1, it's helped me in so many ways. I fear regaining if I stop being postmenopausal. So she fears regaining if she stops being postmenopausal.
I
think she's afraid of
gaining in
weight
menopause,
after
gaining weight in menopause. Yeah, so I went through menopause on this compounded Tirzepatide, right? So I was 54 and I guess perimenopausal, right? So I started in September and was kind of off and on, and who knows when it's coming and whatever. And then I got on this medication and it was like regular October, November, December, and then nothing. And
That's
then
perfect.
I went to my doctor in March, just 3 months later. She did blood work. This was a year ago. And it comes back post-menopausal estrogen level. I'm like, how did I go from December to March? And she goes,
You got to tell Oprah this story. She's not going to believe it.
No, I didn't believe it, because like for years I was like in my 50s going, when is this going to end? Like, this is ridiculous. And the doctor was just like, I don't know, who knows? And my sister had a hysterectomy, so she wasn't a help. And my mom was 50, so I'd passed that mark. And so I really think that something about this medication regulated something, flushed something out. I took inflammation that maybe, I have no idea, but I just know I went from December to March, perimenopausal to postmenopausal. And it's been like that for a year. And so I got on the estrogen patch and the progesterone pill, and this is probably way too much information, but it's all good. And I didn't know those things were even available. Like, no one talks about, perimenopause, who knows anything about it? I don't.
We talked about it last night live. You have to go back and watch that. It was really good. I mean, so many women are, sharing, what they take and what has helped with their symptoms. And I'm hearing about creams and things I didn't even know existed. So I'm going to be ready whenever I get there. One of the things I'm going to do, I might have to do a virtual one. You're invited, Laraine. I'm going to have a menopause party. They talked about giving yourself a party to celebrate menopause. I think Halle Berry mentioned that. And, she said like you would do like a baby shower or bar mitzvah, any of those things you celebrate it. And so I thought, I am doing that. I'm having a menopause party.
I have not heard that, but I'm all about a party, so I'll be glad to.
Yes, that is too funny. Okay, so wait, you said you are taking you're taking the
I have an estrogen patch, which is
patch. Okay.
I put a new one on Sunday and Wednesday, so twice a week, and then the progesterone pill.
And what has it helped with? What has it helped you with?
I was getting really hot. I don't know if it was hot flashes, but I was getting really hot at night and waking up.
Night sweats.
And not really like sweating, but just kind of on fire. And I told Christopher this one day, and I said, I am just on fire. And he reached over and he touched me. He goes, you are hot. I guess he thought it was just like,
I don't know.
He didn't know. Like, is it in my mind? Is my body temperature really gone up? He's like, oh, you're really hot. And I'm like, yeah. So it's helped with that. It's helped me sleep better. I think it's helped my skin. We just need estrogen to, fill things out, I think. So
it's evened you out a little bit too, babe.
It's evened me out a little bit.
There was some points there where she was yelling at the girls about something, and I'm like, why are you yelling?
I don't know.
She's like, rage. I don't know. I'm just mad.
That rage, anger.
That's a symptom.
Everybody's doing everything wrong, and why are they so dumb? And why do I have to do everything? Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so, it's real. Yes. Because
if I don't do it, who's gonna do it?
Right.
I'm like, they just were putting ice in the glasses for dinner. It's not. It's like nuts.
You're doing it wrong. So it's helped with that. And there was, there's, and I thought, just my limited knowledge of the subject, I thought the estrogen replacement had been shown to be bad. Like, we didn't want that. Mm-hmm. And then I've since learned that study has been debunked, and that wasn't a good study, or that's not really the case. So estrogen replacement is there for you. It can help you. I know some of our watchers right now in the chat take testosterone in microdoses. And so there's all kinds of levers you can pull working with your doctor to even you out, help you sleep. Like, regulate your body and do all the things.
Well, that's great. Thanks for sharing that. I think that's going to be so helpful because a lot of people don't talk about this topic. It's kind of taboo.
Right.
Well, CJ says that is an amazing thing to be able to wear anything in the store. I will say, Christopher, you talked about going into, I think you said Old Navy. Did you say Old Navy? You went in
Any
Old
store,
Navy?
it doesn't matter now.
Yeah,
I mean,
he said, wait a minute, not just Old Navy, any store. Yes, isn't that a good
well, I
feeling?
mean, I'll tell you. So one of the stories I tell is I was traveling several years ago, and I was in Amsterdam, and my suitcase was lost. So I had to give a presentation in front of a conference. It was like 300 people, and my suit was in the suitcase that I was supposed to. So I went look, and I was close to 300 pounds. Now the people in Amsterdam are very tall, pretty,
thin,
skinny,
gorgeous people.
So I had to
are.
go looking for a suit in Amsterdam, and I walked in what was a suit supply store, and this man looks at me and he goes, "We have nothing for you."
Wow.
Very politely and very Dutch.
They're just direct.
I just kind of turned around and just kind of like crushed, like, really, asshole, what are you doing? and one of the little ladies who was, I guess, his assistant followed me out of the door and gave me a business card. She goes, "This is the store you need to go to. There's only one store in the city."
Wow.
Whereas today I was in Banana Republic a couple of weeks ago and walked up to her with a leather jacket on that was a medium.
It's like, look, I'm wearing a medium.
And she's like, "You don't need a jacket." I'm like, "I don't want the jacket. I just wanted to try the jacket on."
Yeah, I love that.
It was a $700 jacket. I didn't need it. But,
Yes.
We're not buying a $700 jacket.
no.
Yes. That reminds me of that scene from Pretty Woman with Julia Roberts. Remember when the lady wouldn't entertain her at all. And then she came in with the money and it was they were all about
Big
talking
mistake.
to her.
Huge.
Big mistake. Yeah, that's you could have told him, Chris. Big mistake.
Yeah. We're actually going to Amsterdam in May. We should
go back in the store.
We should go back to that store.
You might be in the small then.
Yeah.
Well, G's 101 says, CD, us bigger guys can lose quicker if we work out. If we don't, it'll probably take a lot longer.
CD says he's not doing it.
I don't really believe that. No.
You're not gonna. Don't talk to him about working out.
I think working out has a lot of advantages, but you increasing your weight loss because you're working out, the vast majority of people will never be able to do that.
Well, the problem is I could always out eat my exercise, right? So I used to run half marathons. I used to run triathlons. I would go run 10 miles and maybe that expended 1,000 calories, but then I'd go out to dinner and eat it all back, right? So I couldn't outrun my fork. And I kept thinking, well, if I can run a half marathon, I'll be thin. If I can do this sprint triathlon, I'll be thin. And I got to the end of these things and I was still the same weight as when I started. It's all about the eating. It's just, it's all about the eating. The exercise is helpful for balance and for strength and for not falling down and breaking a hip. And, when you get, it's for mental benefits. It's for heart, cardiovascular benefits. I used to think I had to exercise to lose weight, and it helps, but it's the food. If you don't get the food under control, there's really no amount of exercise that
so you can't out-train a bad diet, right? I think
You
that's the
can't,
phrase.
Delilah says you can't outrun a bad diet there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't see the comments, guys.
I have an iPad sitting over here with them on it too.
I do, but I still, I can't see it.
Well, Butterfly says, I was just thinking today, I appreciate Dee, Taisha, Laraine, and Christopher's channel. That's so educational. Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Butterfly.
G's one of one. I've lost nearly 13% of my body weight in 12 weeks. Eating smart, walking a mile 3 days a week, and resistance training the other 3 days a week. You are a busy guy.
You look like you're tall in that picture too.
How tall are you, G's 101? Hey, let me try to find a question. I saw some questions. All right, this is interesting. Also, the conversation is really tough when we compare those that work out regularly versus those that don't work out at all. The journey looks very different. Yes, it does. It does, which is okay, right? It's okay.
Yeah.
However you get there, as long as you get there.
And I think you have to remember that everyone's journey is going to be different. And what works for me may not work for Taisha, may not work for Shay, may not work for Christopher. So it's just, and you have to kind of, I think we get in our mind, well, this is how I did it. So this is how everybody needs to do it. But that's just really not going to be the case. So, you know, Christopher doesn't want to exercise. I can't make him exercise. He still lost 102 pounds. You know what I mean? I've been working out 3 to 5 days a week for probably the last 15 years of my life. So, you know, it's just, you know, you just have to let people do what they're going to do. It's very hard to enforce our views on someone else, right?
Yeah.
I agree.
No one
Kim
size fits all.
J's Sweet Healthy Life says, I got my first DEXA last week on a special. I need to check for the Groupon for the next one. It was very informative. Okay, very good. So hopefully, I think she lives in Florida. I know she lives in Florida. So hopefully the Groupon will be in your area. I didn't even think to
I
look
just
there.
looked. There's one in Charlotte now for $71.28. It looks like.
71.28.
I mean, that's like 45 minutes away from
Yeah.
us. That's fine. But we could do that. Yeah. We'll have to.
All right,
we'll have to-
Mayor Mindy, I call her. Mayor Mindy says, my RMR was very important data. The dietitian upped my calories by 300 a day, and then I
Oh.
broke my stall. Very good.
Oh.
Good for you,
Yeah,
man.
You gotta
sometimes
eat.
more.
You gotta eat.
you're not eating enough sometimes, and sometimes
Yep.
you have to eat more to break that stall, and that's not intuitive. You know what I mean? So that's a good
Yeah.
point, Mindy. Thank you.
Delilah says, yes, ma'am. Peri and full-blown menopause do cause elevated cholesterol levels for many women.
Hmm.
Okay, all right, very good. Now, someone was checking on the DEXA scan. You did already. I saw that. Do you guys see any questions? Do you see any questions?
Let's see. Let me try to look. I'm gonna erase this. I have to stand. Y'all forgive me.
She says Butterfly says her doctor's office called me today, scheduled an appointment to see a clinical pharmacist for education on statin. I had to be honest, and I told her I stopped taking the meds 2 weeks in. I know he's going to have a fit. Oh, you got to tell us what happens with that. Well, we'll see what he says. Jeez Louise. Okay. Any questions? Thanks for sharing that. I can't, my eyes, I could probably stand some glasses.
It's all good.
Okay, I'm trying to see. I saw a question scrolling down. Let's see.
It'd be easier if people put a Q. If you put a Q in front of your question, it would be a lot easier to.
Oh, I
To
see a
spot it.
question from
Yes.
a lovely one. It says, Laraine, what is the general price range for the HRT medication? I think the estrogen patch that I do is $25 a month with my insurance. It's really going to vary with your insurance, right? But my insurance doesn't really cover anything, so maybe yours is better. $25 a month for the estrogen patch, and then I think the progesterone pill, I just picked up a 90-day supply today. I think it was, I want to say $60-ish for a 90-day supply. So it's not terrible.
Looks like Delilah's getting it for $5.44 for 3 months, so she has great insurance.
Oh, awesome.
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
we're
pay
on-
for it.
Jeez
We're
Louise.
on, the
Marketplace.
plan because we're
Okay.
self-employed, so we have the worst.
VA. The VA covers mine. That's something that I can get everything else except for Zepbound so far, but I'm not complaining. So that,
Yeah.
I don't pay for mine. I don't even have a concept of what it costs.
So Kelly lives in the Charlotte area, and she had the one LD was referring to. Scheduling was easy, a 30-minute drive from Gastonia. I got 2 for $149. I had my first on in January, and will schedule my next in August. Okay,
Awesome.
all right.
Yeah,
That is
it's the
awesome.
one that travels around. They travel around. They're coming up to Cornelius, which is near us. Kelly,
She's
we're
on the other
other
side of the city from us.
We're on the north side, so we'll get around to it eventually.
All
Sounds
right,
like good content,
we'll take this last question, and then we'll play the quick game, and then we're out of here. Okay. So she followed directions. I love this. Butterfly says, Laraine, do you have any side effects on HRT?
Less hot flashes. better sleep quality. Any downside, I don't see any downside. Sometimes a little sticky stuff sticks to my stomach. I put it on my stomach, and then when I go to put my shot, like the sticky stuff is really sticky. Anyway, that's silly. No, there's really no. I don't see any downside.
I heard somebody else talk about the sticky stuff, but I guess in the big scheme of things, that's a small problem probably to
They
have.
stick.
I use the alcohol pad.
Those patches, yeah. I mean, I'm in the shower with like the puff and the body wash, and you have to like scrape it off with your fingernail. It's like on there.
Try
Like,
an alcohol pad, Laraine.
Okay. Oh yeah, I got plenty of those, right?
Yeah, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Super chat from Mel. Mel, that's
Mel.
COOCCS. Thanks, Mel. She says, I love this quote. Comparison equals the thief of joy. Question: how has being on a GLP-1 impacted you emotionally or mentally, either in expected or surprising ways? There's also, she says, there's an estradiol spray. I thought a patch spray. It's called Evamist now. Have you heard of that, Laraine?
Nope.
You have not? Okay, okay.
But I mean, I'm really
Mel
just
says she
learning.
sprays it. She just sprays it on her arm.
Yeah, Mel B goes to a what does she call it?
A
Concierge
concierge
doctor. So she's
I like
she's
that.
dialed in, right? She's learning all the things like
And sharing, right?
yeah,
Like
no,
she
I
learned and
love
she shares
that.
it. I love that.
I have not heard of the spray. You spray it in your mouth, like, or you spray it
No,
on
she
your
said her
body?
arm. I think she sprays it on her arm, she told me, but I could be wrong.
All right.
Mel, if you can hear us, don't you spray it on your arm? Are you out there?
Maybe she can hear us.
Did she take a restroom break?
Has it impacted you in
Emotionally or mentally?
Oh, okay.
I mean, I get emotional about just saying that obesity is a disease and it's not your fault, right? That's I'm emotional at lots of things. So
Charlie.
I don't know. Taisha, you want to take it? You want to take a shot at that?
Yeah. So first, let me preface this by saying, don't do this without talking to your doctor. But I have suffered from bipolar 1 disorder, for many, many years. And I stopped all medications in January of 2024. Now, I've met with my psychiatrist since, and I'm still doing okay. But this is the longest I've ever been unmedicated and healthy, like healthy
Wow.
mentally.
Wow.
So, this, I hate to say it. I know it sounds so gimmicky, but this medication is life-changing. It's doing more than just stopping our appetite and food noise. Like it's working on other things. And I haven't had to be in the hospital, or I've been great. This is the healthiest I've been consistently as an adult.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
That's amazing.
And for me, it's been the absence. I can't overstate how much the absence of food noise has changed everything about the way I think and who I am, even the defining pieces of me. Because for the last 40 years, really, food and cooking and everything about it has been a defining thing of who I would, to the point of we have traveled around restaurants. I have watched
built vacations around.
Yeah, I have watched so many hours of Food Network. Just everything was about it, and so that when that was not removed, but when it was no longer a constant in my head, the freedom to think about other things and have more agency and power over yourself, because you don't realize it, but it's there, and it's like. Like I said, if you're not on I can't explain it, but it does give you something beyond that is amazing. I mean,
Yep.
I would agree. I think life-changing is probably the best, word I can think of too. It frees your mind, doesn't it? So you can think of so many other things. Like it has focused me and channeled my energy, that I feel like the extra, energy and thoughts that I have to, be productive with. And so, Yeah, it really is life changing. And then emotionally, I've always just been an emotional person. I think it's that Cancer, even though I'm not big into zodiac signs, but I do think I'm like an emotional person. And I think that this has, help me make a connection with people, and just kind of, want to support people. I just want to support people. I want to help people. And I think that this medication has kind of like given me like a newfound purpose, so to speak. Do you guys feel like that
Oh yeah.
and I guess,
I do.
Mhm.
having
Absolutely.
these YouTube channels, when I started my YouTube channel, I didn't think about, impacting other people. I thought about documenting my journey and telling my story. And then when you realize you're impacting people, it just really gives you that extra motivation you need to, keep going. And, so, I always say if the channel ended tomorrow or, whatever happens with it, I still would be seeking that out, maybe even, in my area, how I can help people and motivate people and be a support to people. So I think that's probably one of the, the best changes. And, since she brought up, she said mentally, I will say, I do think when people get to the end of their journey, I've seen it with weight loss that's not even through a GLP-1. Some people do need therapy. So I'm hoping that
Oh yeah.
eventually these medications come with some sort of therapy because or just some kind of recommendation. And I don't know what the cost would be of that. Some of these companies that are offering the doctor part of it, and the nutritionist, they need to also be offering that therapy portion. Because if you're one of those people, and Chris talked about it, when you're so overweight, when you're, into the 300s, I would say, and up, and I'm sure you experience it in the twos. And, even if you're just, 20, 30 pounds overweight, when people say to you, you're so pretty, but, you need to shed some weight, or, people say, if you would just lose some weight, if you would just, lose some pounds, you're thinking, if I could just fit in this seat, if I could just, buckle this seatbelt up, I don't want to be embarrassed. I've had that same experience. What do you do with all that when you get down to your goal weight? What do people do with that? That just doesn't go away because you're thin. And I think sometimes people think like, when I lose the weight, then I'm going to be happy. When I do this, then that's going to happen. And a lot of times, if you're not working on that all along, a lot of times you get down to your goal weight and you're still not happy. And then where does that leave you? So I would like to encourage people to look for,
Yeah.
look for support, look for, help in your local community if you don't have a doctor. But ask for that, therapy. And I know when you have bariatric surgery, they offer, that's a
You have to
requirement,
do it.
right? You
Yeah.
have to get it. I
Yeah.
think eventually that's going to come along with these medications. We're just not there yet. And I do hope we can get there. So.
Well, I think so
Well,
many doctors don't know, like Christopher's doctor, he said, well, yeah, I've never prescribed it before, but yeah, I'll start you on it and we'll see how you do. He had, he was learning along with us. So I think as we go through time and doctors become more educated and more of them get on board with these medications and don't have a bias against it, that will be very helpful. But yeah, I think everybody can benefit from therapy, but if you don't have insurance that covers it, come to YouTube and talk to us.
We're not doctors.
We're not doctors.
But Shay, more importantly, Jerlene gave you another.
Jerlene, thank you. Oh my God, this lady is so awesome. Thank you so much, Jerlene. Thank you for always participating and supporting. We have the Real Talk with Elaine. How are you? She says, I am bowing down to this GLP-1 royalty tonight. Oh, that's so sweet. Dee Dee, the Downsized and Simply Taisha, love you all. That is so sweet. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Okay,
well, so Shay, can we invite people to come on our cruise?
Please do.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
We're supposed to talk about the cruise.
We haven't. So we love to cruise. If you guys have watched our channel at all, and we have done it all throughout this journey, and a bunch of people were like, we'd like to go on a cruise with you. So we set up a group cruise. The group cruise will be June 23rd through the 27th on the Celebrity Reflection out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And we'll be going to Nassau and Bimini, Bahamas, and the Sea Day in there. We'll do all kinds of, we'll actually film art. We'll actually do our live from the ship. We're going to do some interviews, some meet and greets. I promised that if at least 30 people came out, I would line dance, and I don't line dance, and it won't be pretty. It will not be pretty, but I will. So lots of fun stuff. And then Taisha's coming. I think Mindy's still here. Mindy's coming.
Mel.
Mel's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of folks coming. We would love for you to all join us. If you go to our website, thedownsized.org, you can, click on the cruise picture and the rooms start at $8.99 a person, double occupancy.
Yeah.
But it'll be awesome. We would love to have everyone join us.
Go to thedownsized.org and you can find our travel agent and her phone number, and she'll get you all set up if you're interested.
We'll all hang out and go to the beach and
do some line dancing, exercise. If you want to,
I'm looking forward to Zumba.
I'll put the website in the description. I'll add that to it. So if people are watching the video, they can just go right down there and sign up and go. So I love that. I love the idea of this cruise. I think the whole idea of this, bringing the community together, is excellent, excellent, excellent. So I am excited. I'm just bummed out. I'm so far I can't go, but you never know what I'm going to do. But I'm definitely going to plan for it next year if I can't be there this year. Don't give up. All hope is not lost yet.
Well, we're also giving away a cruise.
Well, we're not giving it away, but one of our viewers is giving away a cruise. So one of our viewers who's done some videos with us is a molecular biologist named Condi Carmack.
Oh, Nydia, you're the best.
Yeah, so Nydia, Condi is a molecular biologist. She has a site called Cancer Obesity. Am I going to get this right? Cancerobesity.org.
Connection.
Cancerobesityconnection.org.
Yeah.
If you sign up for his email list, so scroll to the bottom, sign up for his email list. He is giving away a cruise for two, valued at $4,000. All you have to do is put your email address in, right? So, and he doesn't send it, and it's like all the content he sends out is around obesity, GLP-1s, cancer. It's all really interesting.
Yeah.
And we will give it away live April 30th on our live. So there'll be a big wheel.
So let me write that down. April 30th.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go to cancerobesityconnection.org. Right.
But yeah, he called and he was like, I said, I need some help growing my email list and I'd like to give away a cruise. What do you think? I'm like,
okay.
Oh, that was good. That was a great idea.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay, really quick. We're going to play this game. So in order to play this game, and look, my ice is melted. Jeez, Louise. That's how warm it is up here. Jeez, Louise. Okay, so my drink of choice, I'm drinking Fairlife, 30 grams of protein. That's what I'm going to drink. I also have my water handy dandy here, just in case I run out. So this is how the game works. So we want you to play in the chat too. So if you have something to drink, you're going to take a sip if you've ever done this. So you sip if you can answer, yes, I have. Okay, are you? And then if you don't sip, I might ask you, why aren't you sipping? All right, so in the chat, are you ready? Do you guys have your drink of choice? So you can have, water. It can be whatever you're drinking. What are you drinking there, Chris? What are you drinking, Laraine?
Water.
Water with some drink mix in it.
Drink mix in it, Taisha?
This highly filtered from the fridge.
Mine is filtered from the fridge too.
Okay.
Y'all are fancy. Y'all so fancy.
Protein shake. Okay, so the first question is for everybody in the chat. So in the chat, if you have done it, we can't see you. So just put yes or sip. Let us know you're taking a sip. This is a good question because we kind of touched on it, but not really. Have you ever missed a dose of your medication and totally panicked about it? Did you miss a dose?
We did go on a vacation and we forgot to take it.
I have. I changed my injection site I changed my injection day, and it used to be Saturdays, and then I moved it to Wednesday. And on Wednesday, I'm live on Wednesday. So as you guys are too, I'm live on Wednesday. So I often forget. And so I'll get off the live, and sometimes as it goes over, it'll be like, we're on there for 2 hours. I look up, it's 2 hours. And then by the time I get myself ready, I'm like, I'll just take it tomorrow. And so I've taken it the next day, which is Thursday. But the first time that happened, I was in such a panic. Now it's just kind of like, if it happens, it happens. I just, do it the next night. But I was in such a panic the first day I did that. So you guys have never done that. What about you guys in the chat? Jerlene, yes, Jerlene has. Okay, she's saying yes. Sandy saying no. Beverly's drinking. Jazzy MDG is saying no. Okay, very good. You guys are good. All right, if I can get Taisha to drink on some of these, I'm going to consider myself like that I've hit a home run for the night. Okay, have you ever, since you've been taking the GLP-1, let's see, felt GLP-1 nausea that's hit you out of nowhere, like you got sick all of a sudden? Oh man.
Yeah, I felt nauseous.
Cheers, Laraine. Cheers.
Yeah.
See, Christopher hasn't either.
No, I haven't.
All right, Mindy says, I've been in bed and remembered I had to get up and take it.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so Jerlene is saying yes, Sandy is saying no. Okay, next question. Have you fallen asleep midday thanks to that GLP-1 fatigue?
Oh, yeah.
Cheers.
I mean, I've laid down to take a nap.
Yeah. We work from home, so
Yeah.
I'm not too much recently, but early
At
on.
the beginning.
Yeah, at the beginning. Oh, yeah. I think your body's getting used to it. Okay, Beverly says no. Bellflower, no. Jerlene. We are twins in this game so far. Mindy's drinking. I love the little drink
Emoji.
emoji.
That's cute.
All right, people are drinking. No, says Sandy. Oh, sip. Yes, you've taken a nap. Okay, think from thin from within. That's right. Look at that beautiful pic. Thin from within says no sip.
Hey, girl,
All right,
hey.
what about this? Have you ever blamed your GLP-1 for a bathroom emergency while you were in public before?
Oh, yeah. But I had those before GLP-1, so it's not. I have a very active digestive system. Actually, the
I had
GLP-1
to take
helped
a
it a
sip.
little bit.
It helped mine too.
Okay.
Oh, I did. I'm sorry.
It
Yeah,
helped,
drink.
mine.
You're gonna get all your water in tonight. Okay, so they're saying no. Jerlene is saying, yeah, see, Jerlene, we are twins on this game so far. All right, now, Taisha, I already know what you're gonna say. But so have you ever Googled GLP-1 constipation tips before?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Cheers, Laraine.
Fiber gummies are my friend.
The
get a
fiber
lot of
gummies don't
fiber.
work for me for some reason.
No?
I don't know. I've tried Benefactor. Do you have a different one?
I also use that Mag 07 at night. If I really haven't gone for 3 or 4 days, I'll take, I think it's
That's right.
3 Mag 07 and that at night, and it just helps things along.
Is
But
she
I mean,
going?
I mean, if you're getting fiber, it's good. You were talking about fiber earlier, and that's really the best way to get it is through foods in your diet. But if you're only eating protein and you can only fit so many bites in, and you don't have a lot of bites for other things, sometimes those grains, those fibers, those vegetables, you just aren't eating much at first. So you need to get it in somehow.
I agree. Okay, here's another one. Have you ever cried happy tears seeing progress on the scale since you've been on this journey?
Probably.
I don't know if a tear actually came up, but I think I did tear up. I don't know if I actually cried tears though. So I'm not gonna officially take a drink on that.
Not official tears. Happy.
What
I have
about
done
you
happy
guys?
dances.
Yeah, happy dance. I put on a pair of 32-inch Levi's jeans the other day, and there was a happy dance in the middle of the Marshalls.
All right, now talking about the pants. Let's see in the chat what they're saying. Oh, Victoria says, "What a fun game." Mel says, "No." Hello, CD. And Mindy is sipping. Oh, Nadia, nice drink there, Nadia. All right, so this question kind of goes along with that. Have you ever had your pants fall down unexpectedly since you've been on this journey?
No, but close.
Our daughter, that happened to our daughter.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Was
We're
she
not-
in public? when other people can
she's
see
at
her?
college. She's at college, so we're not really supposed to talk about our
Oh,
daughters.
yeah.
But our daughter has lost 110 pounds.
110. Oh my
Awesome.
gosh.
Just coming up on a year. So she's gone down so many sizes that she said, "Mom, I was going to class and my pants started falling."
Oh my gosh. I bet you though that's a good feeling though. I mean, even though it's it would be embarrassing, but wow, that just tells how great of a job she's done.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, poor Delilah's pants fell down to her ankles.
Oh,
Oh,
Girl,
oh goodness. You couldn't grab them in
Step on my
time.
hands, I
Jeez
couldn't.
Louise. I
Oh.
missed out on that good laugh.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, here's another question. Let's see. Okay, this is a lot of clothing type questions. All right, we have a few more. Oh, okay. Have you ever, well, you guys already talked about this, but have you ever not lost, and I won't call it a stall, but not lost from week to week and immediately started questioning everything you were doing? Does that happen?
nope.
Not for me.
I've like waited for the other shoe to drop, right? I'm like, this is gonna quit working. And any minute, this is gonna be the end. And my weight's gonna start going up again like it has every other time before. And I was just kind of waiting for that to happen. And I guess now 77 weeks later, my brain knows that's not gonna happen.
Right.
So it's kind of just
Yeah.
making your mind think that.
Like it's too good to be true, right? I've thought
Yeah.
that too. Like, wow, this
Yeah.
is too good to be true, you know?
Right.
Well, Beverly says she can't wait for her pants to fall down. Somebody, Victoria, your shoes have fallen off. Oh my goodness. But you know, that's a real thing. When you guys probably know when you lose weight, my feet,
Oh, yeah.
I'm really a 9. And then I think I at one point was wearing a 9.5. And then I started wearing a 10 just because my feet had gotten so wide. Now those 10 shoes are so loose. I don't know. I'm like, geez, oh man, I'm gonna have to get rid of these shoes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mine are a full shoe size smaller. And I mean,
Yeah.
it's, it's the little victories. My wedding ring I had to stop wearing because my fingers were so big. And now it's,
Too
Oh
big.
yeah,
Well,
I
that's
have the
right.
same thing with the ring. It's not a wedding ring, but yeah.
It's been
Wow.
sized twice.
Wow.
And look where we are. I'm not
Oh,
gonna
wow.
keep taking it back, but can you
Yeah.
see like the room
well, I
there
bought some little, they sell little spacers that you can
on
put in
Amazon
Yeah,
there.
or
you can put
something?
in there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll get
and they work
some.
okay. At some point we'll get it resized, but
I'm not
today.
mad about it though.
No, I'm
Okay, now Taisha, I gotta figure out a question for you that you can drink to. Have you ever checked your injection site several times just to make sure you actually took the injection?
No.
I did. You guys haven't done that?
No.
Well, I mean, I use the
Oh,
you
yeah.
see that going in, but yeah, the clicky click 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 click.
The 2
Like
clicks.
Christopher
A lot
No.
of times I don't feel it. Like because I didn't feel it. I'm like, you don't feel it? I just thought, what's going on here?
those
I go
clicks
by
are
what
like,
I hear.
ugh.
Yep. Those loud clicks.
I love the clicks.
clicks
I'm like,
are-
I've only
need
felt
a
it
lot of
once. I've only felt it once out of all this time. Once.
Oh wow. No, I feel it pretty much every time.
the only time I feel is when I grab the fat, like in my belly. If I don't, or my I can't really grab a lot on my thigh, but because I'm sitting usually when I've taken it, and that's probably
Yeah.
why. But if I grab something and grab a hold, but if I just put it against my skin, I don't feel it at all.
Huh.
It's just I just hear those clicks. So. All right, what are you guys saying in the chat? We have a couple more questions and then we're out of here. Still, I haven't gotten Taisha. Okay, how about this one, Taisha? In chat, have you counted down the days until your next dose like it's a holiday? Like I can't wait to take that injection again. Have you guys done that?
Maybe. I mean, the shot has a half-life of 5 days, right? So on days 5, 6, 7, sometimes I do notice getting a little bit hungrier, and I'm like, oh, I need to get to day 7 so I can take that shot, right? So maybe like that.
Yeah, I think mine is similar to that, but I haven't really been on that like a countdown for it. Not that intense. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Excited for
All
the
right,
first
Taisha.
shot. The first shot. Does that count? I was excited
Yeah.
to get to the first shot, but since then it's just everything's kind of been the same. It's just as effective as the beginning. So maybe if I had struggled with having like food noise coming back or something, I would have been like anxious. But
Did you stay on the same dose, Taisha?
kind of like I was on the 2.5 for 4 weeks. Then I
Yeah.
went for 5. And then now I'm on 2.5 again.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I just kind of wrote out 5.
Yeah. Yeah. Taisha's probably a super responder, I
Sounds
would
like
say.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor, but that sounds like a super responder to me. So
I know. I feel like we can either give her a cape with a big S on the back of it.
I'm telling you,
SR
that
for
failure
super
from
responder.
before.
Okay, 2 more questions. 2 more questions. Okay, Taisha. Have you ever forgot to eat and realized it only when you got lightheaded?
Yes, I can drink to that.
What? She's drinking. I have forgotten to eat
when
too.
did you
Yeah.
forget to eat?
any given Tuesday.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was a
usually-
busy day.
Yeah, I'll look up and it's like, oh, it's dinner time or it's past lunchtime, and I've not. But then I go eat. I don't ever
what's
get to the
going on?
lightheaded part.
Now, this one I was going to ask, but I already know what Taisha's going to say. So I'm just going to tell you what it is, and then I'll have one last question. I was going to ask, have you gotten way too excited when your med arrived in the mail? And Taisha, you did say
Oh,
when
yeah,
your first one,
absolutely.
so you're going
Do I have to drink
Yeah.
again? Okay.
Yeah, drinking. We got to get you drinking. Now, I've never, have I received any in the mail? I have not. Did I?
I got a shipment today in the mail from Empower. It was pretty exciting.
I bet it was.
So
Okay,
yeah,
all
I've
right,
been
what is
waiting
the
for that. Been waiting for that since about March 13th. So
So it was a great day.
it was a great day.
Okay, it seems like a lot of people have forgotten too. Not forgotten, but gotten lightheaded too. Okay, very good, very good. I forgot to eat. All right, and then last question. This is one that I can say I can drink the whole bottle with this one. Have you ever taken selfies because your face has gotten noticeably slimmer?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Cheers. I can take a sip to that.
For sure.
Well, you guys like me, I never like to take body shots before. Like I only really like to take selfies until now I'm getting myself in the habit of taking a body shot. But before that, it was just only selfies. Did you guys ever experience that?
Yeah.
Never took a bite. No.
Well, because we would take, selfies of us just, neck up. And now I'm like, Christopher, we have to ask somebody to take the picture so they can get our whole body in the picture.
I got a lot of pictures of full body. I just don't always post them for befores, but we got a lot. There's a lot. Yeah, I didn't have that. Oh, I don't want to take pictures because I'm big. Now my positioning would be,
Strategic. Yeah.
Strategic, yeah.
hide behind
Mel
people,
says
maybe.
gulp. She's gulping it down. Okay, look at all these. Yes. Big sip. Oh, Delilah. We gotta get you
Aw.
taking some photos. Look at these beautiful profile pics. I always say we have some beautiful community members when I see these pics. Well, that is it. Before we leave, I was going to say, ask you to talk about your channel and the cruise, but you kind of already talked about the cruise. You might want to, mention that again with the giveaway, right? Because we love a good giveaway. And can tell us about your channel. We'll start with Taisha, and then we'll go to the Downsize. Tell us about your channel. Where can we find you?
Okay. My channel name is Simply Taisha, and I'm on YouTube and I'm on Instagram. My Facebook is just personal. That's not something that I want to open up to like everybody because that's not. I mean, lately I've been sharing YouTube videos there, but I really just, Instagram and YouTube. And so I don't know what else to talk about. I talk about mindset and habit change. I share my journey. I give weekly updates, and I've done that for I didn't start my channel like putting videos out there about this until 4 weeks in. So from my 4th week on, you can go back and see the transition over time. And a lot of those videos are short. I didn't make these really long videos. So yeah, that's well, I have to go first.
She's simple. She's Simply Taisha. That's
Simply
the name.
Taisha. Yes.
No, Taisha has a great channel. I love your channel, Taisha.
Thank you.
I do too. She does a great job. Very good at motivating us, right? To stay on track. You're consistent. You know, we love that. Like what a good coach would be. You're kind of like like a little guide there.
Be your internet, virtual coach through YouTube.
Yes, yes. All right, Laraine and Chris, tell us about your channel.
Well, we are the Downsized, so we're on YouTube. We make videos every day. We have over 400 videos with all kinds of topics. We do a weekly weigh-in. We do the Downsized Dish, where we talk to people on a GLP-1 weight loss journey.
And both of these ladies have done an interview.
If you'd like to oh, thanks, Bellflower. If you'd like to come on the Downsized Dish, you can send me an email to Laraine at thedownsizeddish.org, Laraine.
It's not the downsized dish.
At the downsized.org. I don't know where I am. I forget. Anyway, go to our channel. It's on there. Also, what else do we do?
The news.
We do the news. Christopher said we need to do a news, GLP-1 news. And I said, Christopher, nobody wants to hear the news. I just want to talk about weight loss. I just want to talk about the things. And he goes, no, we're going to do the news. And when people love the darn news. So we do the news. We do
taste
product
tests,
reviews,
all
taste
kinds
tests,
of crazy stuff.
tips, videos. So
I cook sometimes, occasionally.
sometimes he cooks. Yeah. Yeah. So come join us. We do lives if things happen, and things have been happening lately. So subscribe, and then you'll know when we know.
Very good. And then Nadia put a link in there.
Oh, thanks, Nadia.
Thanks, Nadia.
I also have a Facebook page called The Downsized GLP-1 Adventure.
I don't know why you're always
I don't know
confused
why
about it.
I just changed the name. Like I took all the drug names out of the name because you know why. So the Downsized GLP-1 Adventure, it's on Facebook. You have to answer some questions because I just want to keep out, spam and
sure,
all the things. So come join us. We've got about 1,800 members. Nydia is a moderator, so thank you, Nydia.
Now you can see she's a moderator in my chat too.
It's pronounced Nydia.
Well, I've always called her Nydia. Is it Nydia?
Yeah, I call her Nydia. I don't know.
Nydia.
I don't know.
I had this conversation today with Mel, and Mel told me it was Nydia. And I'm used to calling. I had a student who spelled her name the exact way, and it was Nadia. So that's what I've been calling her.
You might be saying it wrong.
I've been saying
Nadia. Tell us.
With the
Which
Y?
one is it? 1 is Nydia, 2 is Nadia, or 3 is neither one. Can you put a 1, 2, or 3 in the chat?
LD.
What did LD say?
I say Nydia.
Nydia.
Like Lydia.
I say Nydia.
Yeah.
Oh, Nydia, like Lydia.
But we're happy to call you whatever you want.
Yes.
I didn't
That's so
know
funny.
that.
Lydia.
Can I say something really quick?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is why I don't like going first. I forgot to talk about every day. I've been doing this now for a little over 30 days. I do a daily dose of mindset video. It's every morning. I record every day. So I'm doing them every morning. They're available at 6 a.m. Monday through Friday. And on Saturdays and Sundays, 11 a.m. So the weekly updates are on Sundays. And then I've been like sprinkling videos here and there. But the daily dose of mindset, I think mindset is so important on this journey. So check them out. And they're short. They're like 2.5 to, I don't even think they're 5 minutes, but 2.5 to 5 minutes. That's it.
Very nice.
All right, I'm done.
Oh, thank you guys for coming on here. I don't know if I have like a specialty. I think maybe going live might be my thing, because I go live 3 times a week, right? I'm live Sunday at 2. I'm reporting my weight, and Wednesdays I'm at 8. Although I was at 9:30 yesterday because I had a meeting, and I think once the summertime gets here, I think I will, push it back. And then on Fridays, I'm live at 8:30. And so that one, people just love that one because we're talking about, relationships and dating. And I try to make it fun with some games, and, we're trying to get some guys there. So if anybody knows a few good men, send them our way. Send them our way.
It's Darian.
Single, right?
Darian is here.
It's Darian. It's Darian. He's so funny. He's the one who told me. I think I told you guys this before we came live. I said, I'm wearing this shirt. Now you can't really see that it's really a light pink, because I was told that I need to be Mel and I, we have to be pink and soft. So I said, I know I'm going to wear my pink shirt here today. Another thing that I do that I don't really talk a lot about, I'm not the best self-promoter, I always say, but I also do interviews on my channel. And so I'm going to start, when I do the interviews, I'm going to send them your way, to
Sure.
interview with you too. I haven't really done a whole lot here recently, but the reason I started interviewing, and I love your interviews. I mean, when I was looking for a channel, when I started this GLP-1 journey, I was looking for people who were doing interviews. Like biographies are my favorite genre. I just love to hear how successful people became successful. But the reason I started interviewing on my channel is because when I was telling the little friends that I told about my journey, the first question they had was, what's going to happen to you in the long term? How do you know what's going to happen, years from now? This is so new. And I said, well, really, the peptides aren't new. But, the way we're using them and hearing about them might be newer. But I said, I'm going to find people. That was my thought. I'm going to find people who have been on this journey and who have lost a significant amount of weight. But my goal was to find people who had lost, who had been on the journey for 1 year, 2 years, who had, been on the GLP-1. So my first interview was like an influencer. I just saw her on TV one night. It was like late at night and I'm watching TV and doing something. And so I reached out to her. She had about 4,000 or 5,000 subscribers at the time. And I had probably like 300 or 400. And I thought, she's never going to interview with me. Well, she did. She's in her 30s and I could technically be her mom, but we just had a connection. Like everything she talked about, I could relate to her. So I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to ask her to interview. But then I looked for people after that who had lost, at least 100 pounds. And then they had been on it for more than a year. So my first interview was Mindy Peterson. Do you guys know her?
We haven't met her, but I know who she is. Yeah.
Okay. And so she interviewed on my channel, and I thought she just did such a great job of telling her story and expressing herself. And then that just started, my journey of interviewing people. And so I don't have it as regularly as you guys, because I'm finding like the content creators will come on and interview, but a lot of the subscribers, they don't really want to be on camera. So eventually, hopefully, we'll get more people.
You just have to keep asking.
Keep asking. See, I'm not good with asking. I'm not good with asking. So I have to get better with that, because now I'm looking for anybody that wants to share their story. Because one thing I've learned is that, you might be saying to yourself, I only lost 30 pounds. I don't want to interview. Well, there's somebody else out there who's lost 30 pounds who can relate to you. And even if you've lost, your first 10 pounds and you want to celebrate that, I think whatever stage you're at, you're going to find somebody that can relate to you. And so I don't think we're not looking for somebody that had this, that has knocked it out the park already. We're looking to inspire people along the way on the journey. And I think that is what, that's what people kind of need, and give them that little push. So anybody want to interview with me, I'm sending you to the Downsized too. If you interview at the Downsized, feel free to come on over here.
We have done, I think, 35 or 36 in a row. So, I mean,
and it's hard to listen. I have a list of questions, right? And people are telling their stories, and I'm trying to think of my next question and listen to their story and respond to their story. And it can really be challenging. So I appreciate the people that have come on with me and helped me along this interview path. But we have people that are just starting, that have lost a bunch, that have lost a little, that have been on Rybelsus, Ozempic, Wegovy, Zepbound, Mounjaro, like all the things. So there's so many people right now looking for someone like them that they can model, if she could do it, well, then I could do it. Yes. And everybody's different. 74% of America has overweight or obesity. So there's so many people that want to see a representation of themselves. So I think this is just very helpful for people.
I mean, we've had people from 28 years old to 78 years old. We've had people from 5 or 6 different countries around the world: Australia, Denmark, Ireland, of every race, age, ethnicity, religion. It doesn't matter. We want to hear your story. We want to know how you're doing.
I always find something fascinating about every person's story, right? We have a lady this week Mona, she's from Ireland. How does she say it? Ireland. She says it very Irish. I can't even say it. From Ireland, and she started at over 600 pounds. So she's talking about her journey and how it's different in the in the UK and in Ireland. So it's I like to hear all the different stories. They're fascinating.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for coming. We're all subscribed to each other's channels, and I love the support. I love the collaboration. I'm glad you guys came on. When you get, is there a cutoff date for that cruise? I can't remember if you said it was or not.
I mean, if spots are still available, you could go up to like the week before. So it's June 23rd. Okay. That's it. It's book now. Spots are going fast.
Okay.
Limited time offer.
No, seriously, you've come a long way. I remember when you talked about it on the channel. You were in like 20 something people. Now you're at 40 plus. The last I heard. Yeah. So you are getting people. And then this time next year when you do it, we're gonna fill up the boat because I'm gonna be on there too.
I mean, that would be amazing.
I must use the restroom. I have had so I can either step away or I don't want to be a party pooper.
No, we are leaving, and hopefully let's do this again. Next time we'll be on somebody else's channel. Somebody else can host it. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for watching and tuning in. Thank you to the chat. This chat was popping. I love it. And everybody have a great weekend. The weekend's coming up, right? Tomorrow's Friday.
I think it is.
Have a great weekend.
Tomorrow's
Thank
Sunday.
you. Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you for having us.